Hello and welcome, I am Arumba, thank you for joining me. Welcome, we are live on Twitch right now. This is the 200,000 subscriber Ask Me Almost Anything. And right now we're just reading chat, getting things started. Up to about 600 viewers. Not sure if I'm going to turn the viewer count on because we may or may not have as many people as we had last year. And honestly, to me, it would be bad if we had fewer viewers than last year, but I think last year there was quite a bit of hype because I had never, up until then, revealed my face. So it was a big deal back then. What are your cocaine habits like? So far, I haven't tried it. Yeah, how is it? Is it any good? Should I give it a go? Can you get your hands on Hearts of Iron 4 when you can get your hands on Hearts of Iron 4 whenever you want? Yeah, I can. I probably can. You're right. Soon, within a couple of weeks. The game's coming out in like 3 weeks. I'll be able to play in a few weeks anyway. Okay, so while Twitch chat is Twitch chatting, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple things here real quick. First off, I just want to do an announcement. You may notice behind me here, there's the Arumba logo sweater that I wore to the Windsor trip. Those t-shirts did really well. We had a great campaign, so I've decided to redo it. I restarted the campaign today. Also, I got some great feedback from the people who live over in the European Union saying that you can run a campaign there and then they don't have to pay as much as shipping. And so there will be a link I'm going to post in the description down below in the video for YouTube, and then also in Twitch chat. We'll post it here now. It is, if you would like to buy the t-shirt or the hoodie, you can go to here. You are in the US. And you can go to here if you are in the European Union. How come you don't have any hair? What happened to it? It fell out. Hair is bad. I shave my head mostly. I don't use a razor, but I shave it down. It's as low as that I can. Okay, without further ado then, we're going to get into some of the questions. So, let's just do that. Just a little bit more space here for this. And we're good to go. Okay, so question number one. Why do you feel the necessity to give closure to all your series? You don't seem to be enjoying your last Stellaris campaign, and it really seems rushed. You should just move on and start a new campaign. It's not good for you or the viewer. Actually, I remember reading this question just a few days ago and taking it to heart and deciding to cancel the Mushroom campaign simply based on this question. Because questions have been coming in for a whole week, and part of it is that I don't like when people have long-standing campaigns on YouTube that just end abruptly. It makes it very difficult for me to cancel campaigns because I just have this fear that people are watching a campaign maybe 6 months from now and they don't know that the campaign's already over, and they get to the end of it and then they have no closure. And so I always want to try to finish campaigns, but it is true that a lot of times campaigns drag on, or my interest in a campaign or my interest in a game in general might wane and the content quality goes down, and I probably should be a little bit more proactive about following my own rules. My rules, which are, only have fun when you're playing, don't record when you're tired, that kind of thing. So yeah, that was from Gonzalo. Greetings from Spain. Zitrish wants to know, how do you choose what games you're going to play, and are you influenced by anyone when making these choices? Yes, I am influenced, but not directly. What happens is I get offered tons of games. Like, I get, on a daily basis, my daily routine is I wake up in the morning, I check my email, there's like anywhere from 10 to 20 emails that are unsolicited, and it's people saying, hey, here's the game code, play this game. And I usually will take a look at a couple of them, the ones that appeal to me. I might go check them out on the Steam site. I might watch five minutes of a video on it to see if it interests me. But for the most part, I already know in advance what I want to play. So most of the stuff that just gets kind of thrown my way, I don't actually have much interest in, and I don't play. But so as far as whether or not how I choose what games to play, I choose the things that generally match my current audience, which would be things like Grand Strategy. Obviously, I think Stellaris, anything from Paradox really fits well into that mixture. Matthew Robbins wants to know, what is your favorite non-Paradox game? Non-Paradox. Well, I find myself playing a lot of Dota. And I have a love-hate relationship with Dota. I wish I could stop playing Dota, but I can't stop playing Dota. So it's kind of it's complicated. I feel like I'm in Crusader Kings 2, for example, and I'm like rival to my brother, who's also like my best friend kind of thing. Like, that's my relationship with Dota. Like, I could play Dota right now, but I would probably be really angry about it at the end of it all. Alcoholic Belik wants to know, what is your favorite beer? I'm super boring and at the same time also super efficient. So when drinking beer, strictly for the sake of drinking beer to like get drunk, I drink Miller Lite. It's boring. It's a light beer. It's a light American beer, but I think that it tastes pretty good. It's 4.25% alcohol content by volume, and it's cheap. So it's like, as far as like ratings go, it's up there. It's really up there as far as like alcohol content per dollar spent, and that's actually what I go with. Now, if I'm out and about, then I gotta say, some of the beer that I had, I really liked the beer that we had in Windsor, the last two events that I went to in with Paradox. Those things were, they had some good stuff. I don't like dark beer. Dark beer is not really my thing. Narkdia wants to know, did you ever want to make a grand strategy type of game? If you wanted, will you make one anytime in the future? Make a grand strategy type of game. Are you talking about like becoming a game developer? Probably not. I mean, why would I make games when it's already kind of established that I can play them as a living? Like, it would be such a gear shift. I don't think I could see that happening. Yes, I am from Michigan originally. Chuck Sterone. Whichever moderator it is that keeps highlighting the next question, I appreciate you doing that for me. Aruma, do you think it is important to play sports at a young age? 100%, absolutely. My sons are both, well, my son and daughter are playing soccer. My second son is going to be playing soccer. I think that sports are incredibly important because they teach you about victory and defeat and teamwork. That's I as a monkey. Okay, thank you, I as a monkey. I appreciate you being here. I'm sorry, I apologize that I had to change my stream schedule. It's probably like 3 in the morning for you. You are one dedicated moderator, aren't you? Stevie Gone Evil wants to know, have you noticed any increase in negativity from viewers that usually comes with an increased viewer base? And I hate to say that, yes, I absolutely have. It's been very frustrating for me. And I don't think that people have become more negative. I just think that the ratio, it's like the likelihood of detection. It's like, okay, it's like EU4 spy detection chance, right? It's like so many people are fabricating claims on me that I'm more likely to get a pop-up saying someone's fabricating a claim on me. That, you know, like, you notice the negativity more. I think that the negativity was there all along, except that somehow you just kind of don't notice it, or you glaze over it, or the ratio of good comments to bad comments is so high that you mix and you just miss it. But also, I do think that there is some truth to the fact that just as your channel gets bigger, people tend to hate on you. Like, there's this thing, and this is a real thing. I'm not making this up. I think that this is a true thing. People envy success. And there are people who want to tear down others because it makes themselves feel better. And so the more successful someone becomes, whether it's YouTube or anything else, all throughout your life, you're going to find people who do this. Where, like, you'll see it in The Office, for example. I'm not going to, don't worry, we're not going to do a whole bunch of insurance references, but You'll see this in the office. I mean, some of you may resonate with this right away as I say it. You'll do something good in the office, and someone else will try to tear you down in order to make themselves look better. Rather than work hard themselves, or rather than do something worthy of promotion themselves, they will try to tear down others. And the greater your success becomes, the more likely you are to see that happen, I think. Arthur wants to know, what was your job before you started producing videos on YouTube? Okay, we'll briefly cover this. Again, we're not going to spend the whole stream talking about insurance, but I sold insurance for about 6 years, almost 7 years. I primarily specialized in life insurance, long-term care insurance, Medicare insurance, and fixed interest rate annuities, which are an insurance product. Mostly working with people who are the ages of 40 to 80, and it was a good business, great business. I made a ton of money doing it. It was a good job, great career to get into if you have no college education and you're just looking for a job that you can kind of learn as a what's the term for it? They used to do this all the time back in the olden days, right? An apprenticeship, right? Like a blacksmith. Like, let's say you wanted to become a blacksmith. You wouldn't go to blacksmith school. No, you'd become a blacksmith apprentice. You'd go work for a blacksmith, and you learn how to become a blacksmith by being a blacksmith. Insurance works the same way. You don't need any experience at all. You just go and you just go do it, and you learn how to do it, and you can make great living. You can make a great living doing it. So that was what I did before that. How well do you think you know your moderators? Not well at all, honestly. I trust them because of the things that they do. And that's about as far as that expectation or relationship goes. It's very simple to me. I mean, it is a position where people get power. Whether you would consider it to be a large amount of power or not doesn't really make a big difference. It is some measurable amount of power, and therefore certain people will do well with that power and other people will do poorly with that power, and I just watch how they handle it. So if a moderator follows the guidelines that I've asked them to follow, then they stay a moderator forever. And I have no issues with them whatsoever. I mean, we got 4 moderators in chat right now. Lavernius, James, Lambert, I is a Monkey, Dudemeister, Tyler, 454555, 45. I always add an extra 5 to your name. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, just it's basic stuff. I just expect keep the chat clean, keep the chat non-racist, you know, if we need to move into slow mode, if we need to, we move into subscriber only mode, that kind of thing. And that's really all I expect. Beyond that, it's not like a personal relationship or anything. I do have some of my moderators on Skype, so we can talk outside. Notably one, who unfortunately was my head moderator, but can't really quite do it because I had to change my stream schedule, which is really unfortunate, and it's too bad. Did you get a look at the new Paradox game, Tyranny? I have not yet, but chances are, because it's a Paradox title, I will play it. I have not seen it yet, though, no. Would you ever plan to make a fully game-changing mod for EU4 or any other game? Matthew Robbins wants to know. No, definitely not. The type of people who make complete overhaul mods are dedicated. They basically do it as a secondary job. Like, these are the type of people who get really, really into it, and they spend 4, 5, 6 hours a night working on it outside of work, and it takes them months, and I just couldn't do it. The only modding that I can really do is minor stuff, like making keyboard shortcuts mods, making interface adjustment mods, that kind of thing. I can't really see myself finding the time to do a game overhaul mod. How has YouTube changed your work schedule? That's a great question, because actually it's the opposite. I base my work schedule on for YouTube based on my previous work schedule. So let me tell you a little bit about, again, my previous work schedule. I used to run appointments where I would go out and I would meet people, and I would run appointments at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. So I had this schedule that I would follow 5 days a week, and we would go out and we would meet with people and try to sell insurance. And so I translated that into YouTube and said, okay, well, I'm going to follow a similar schedule where I'm going to release videos on a consistent basis, and I'm going to do that. And then as far as how I do my job, I work at like a 9 to 5 job. I wake up, I get my kids ready for school. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 8:30, I am in the office working, recording videos, checking on emails, checking on everything that I can do. I mean, there's a lot involved. There's a whole lot involved, and I'd be happy to go into it as the questions come up. But I'm working from 8:30 until about 5 o'clock every single night, and then now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm also streaming for 2 to 4 hours. So it's a full-time job. I mean, if you factor it in, let's just see. I work from about, let's call it 8:30 until 5. So that would be, don't do math live. Don't do math live. That would be 3.5 hours until noon, right? Right? Plus 5 hours, so that's an 8.5 hour day. 5 days a week. And then I stream for 2 to 4 hours. Let's average it at 3, so that's another 6. So that's 48.5 hours. 48.5 hours of quote-unquote work that I do every day, every week. But that's not factoring in all the time spent that I'm not actually in the office. Like, you know how it is. When you're self-employed, you never stop working. You're always working. A question from Twitch chat. How has your son been since his seizure? I hope he's all right. So, okay, Sebastian had 2 seizures. He had 1 seizure after he fell off of a countertop. He hit his head, and he immediately went into a seizure. And it was, I forget the proper terminology for it, but it was trauma-induced seizure. It can happen when you hit your head. You can just go into, and you can have a seizure. So he had that. It was terrifying. That was a major, major, major life-changing event for us, because we realized just how dangerous the most innocuous things can be. He is a climber, just like I was when I was a kid, and he won't stop climbing. And you know, he climbed up onto the countertop, and then he just fell off, and he just hit his head, and bam! All of a sudden, we had to call 911, and they sent out an ambulance. And the ambulance said, hey, we should airlift him to a children's hospital. So they did. So, you know, what do you do? What do you do? You tell me, what do you do when your kid is having a seizure on the ground and your wife is flipping shit? Like, you don't understand. My wife, I love her to death. Here's a woman who cannot operate under pressure. Like, she cannot handle it at all. Where I am the exact opposite. I go into full-on fight or flight, like adrenaline mode. Like, I am a fighter. I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that it's like everything else turns off for me, and I go completely into the zone, and I only focus on what needs to be done. And I'm very, very good in a crisis situation. So I handled everything. She was just, she was like a chicken with a head cut off. Screaming and crying and running all over the house and all kinds of stuff, and I handled everything. And I think that may just be a typical male reaction. I do have a feeling, and I'm not trying to be sexist when I say that. I do think that is something that I have a feeling. This is, again, personal opinion. I'm not trying to be sexist, but I do have a feeling that men are more prone to that type of reaction type, because that's our job. This is the way I feel about it. It's my job to protect the family. And so it just made sense to me that should be the way that I react. Anyway, so he had that seizure, and then we went, and then of course, you know, but what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, we're not going to airlift him. I think he's fine. Let's just keep him here. So no, you don't. You let them do whatever they say needs to be done. And so they airlift your son to the hospital. You end up with a $45,000 bill from the helicopter company, because of course that's perfectly reasonable. And that was fun. So 45 grand is you know, it's a fun bill to get in the mail. Anyway, a couple months later he had a second seizure, and this is something called a febrile seizure. It's a weird term. It's related to fevoral or fever. It's a fever-induced seizure. So what happens is as a young child, if you've had a seizure in the past and you have a rapid spike in body temperature, you have a chance of developing another seizure, a febrile seizure. So he had one of those. And so, again, I went into crisis mode and we managed it, and my wife wanted to take him, oh God, and I was like, no, we're not doing the helicopter again. There's no way we're doing the helicopter. But we did we went straight to the hospital and we got that all taken care of, and of course everything was fine. And there's no long-term effect to a febrile seizure. I mean, he's totally fine. He's a regular kid. Everything's fine. And he hasn't had any problems ever since. But what changed is that we are 100% crazy focused on him. Like, way, way, way more protective of him than we are of the other two because of that. And, I have like 6 different bottles of acetaminophen and the other drug, whatever it's called. There's the 2 drugs that lower fevers. The second that kid gets any kind of a fever whatsoever, he gets medicine. Because we do not let his temperature go up. Period. Straight up, not going to happen. And that's what the doctor told us to do. So, anyway, that was a long explanation to a question that was just random in chat. Let's move on to the next one. If you could invent anything old or new, what would it be? Asks Owl Heaven 2. Anything old or new? Well, hey, it'd be great to have been the guy to invent the printing press. Or the iPhone. I mean, obviously it'd be great to just be set up for life. Although, then again, I don't know that it would. I mean, do you ever wonder what it would be like to be a silver spoon baby? Let's just say you woke up, like you were born, and then you realize as you grow older that you're different than everyone else, and that you're part of the 1%. You'll never want for anything. Your life experiences are going to be completely different from everyone else in your entire life. And there's some argument to be made. Like, what comes to mind to me is the story of Notch. What's Notch's Notch, the creator of Minecraft? What's his real name? It'll come to me if I don't try to think of it. Or I could just wait for Twitch chat to tell me. We'll just wait for Twitch chat, because Twitch chat's here. Notch. His name is Marcus Persson. Thank you. So here's a guy who sold Minecraft, and now he's like a billionaire. And from what I've heard, has like lost his purpose in life. And he is like having issues, like severe depression, and like he's having issues, man. Because what do you do when you have no part? But what do you do when there's no point to life? When you have everything, like if you had everything you ever wanted, that would be very difficult to handle. So anyway, this goes back to the if you could invent anything old or new question. Like, I don't know that I'd want to have invented the printing press and be super rich and not have to worry about money or something. That might change my life outlook. I don't know. How are you doing? Do you feel better after the medication? I wish you the best, says Jacob M. I'm doing well. I feel much better. It takes time. It's going to take a long time, actually, for this kind of treatment to alleviate full-on, like, depression. Because this is a multi-year process for me. I have a tendency over the course of a 2 to 3 year period to slip into bouts of depression where I become very lethargic and very apathetic towards life, and I lose my motivation for things, and I've always just kind of blamed that on just it being the way that I am. But it kind of turns out that maybe it could be a biological thing, that maybe I'm wired a little bit differently. And I strongly encourage, and I have been encouraging people, if you've got concerns about anxiety or depression, that you do seek out a psychologist and talk to them. I'm not saying you need medication. I'm not saying that everyone needs medication, but I think that it's worthwhile to take the time to visit a professional. Like, let's just say, for example, right? Let's just say, for example, that, like, your tooth hurt. Right? Like, you eat ice cream and your tooth hurts a little bit. Now, you could just ignore that and just say, well, it hurts when I eat ice cream, so I'm just not going to eat ice cream. And that's a solution to a problem. It is. It's a functional solution. But you're also kind of just ignoring the issue at hand. I mean, the proper response would probably be to go see a dentist, right? So I kind of look at it the same way. Like, if you have feelings of apathy, depression, anxiety, or whatever it may be, maybe it's a good idea you should go see a psychologist and just see what they have to say about your symptoms. And maybe they'll prescribe a medication. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll tell you you're fine. I don't know. But that's the kind of thing where I think you should take advantage of professionals in their field. Just like every other profession in their field. Like, I think that every single person in Twitch chat right now, you should go out and you should talk to an insurance professional to see if you need insurance. I have insurance. I don't sell insurance right now. But I would be willing to bet that 95% of the people that are watching this stream right now don't have the right amount of insurance. Let's do this. Let's try this. We'll do a Twitch poll. Let me see if I can get this set up properly. I want to remind people of a few things while I'm getting this going. Twitch moderators, by the way, if you don't mind, I want to have a couple point outs here and there that we've relaunched the shirt campaign, the shirt campaign that we did, the one that people really liked, and we did do an EU version. So if one of the moderators could get it set up so that there's a link posted every, say, half hour, that'd be great. One for teespring.com/Aroomba and one for teespring.com/Aroomba EU. So that way, if you want to buy a t-shirt, you can buy one from the European Union this time, and then you don't have to pay crazy shipping costs. And if you want to buy one from the US, then you can pay with regular US shipping costs. Much better deal than last time. I felt bad realizing that the UK was paying so much extra. But anyway, feel free to buy a shirt if you want to support the channel. We'll do all that stuff. But anyway, I want to do a straw poll just out of curiosity to see. Let me get this thing set up real quick. How much life insurance do you think I own? And I'm going to just, I don't know what's the right order to do this in. I'm going to do this in this order, I think. This is a completely random topic. This is not something that I was planning on doing. Here's a straw poll for the people who are watching live right now. Do this straw poll. And I will get this set up in just a moment so that you can see it. Go to studio mode, home capture. Here's the results. So the question is just a random question. Where this came from, this came from people. We were talking about like seeing a psychologist because you might think that you have anxiety or depression or that kind of thing like that. And so the reason why I'm asking this question is just to see if people... I believe that 90-some% of the people that are watching this stream right now don't have enough life insurance. And so I want to see what you guys think I have. Okay, so we have, let's see, live viewers right now. Let's go ahead, we'll turn that on. Live viewer count right now, we're at 1,127, not bad. Last year, when we did the 100,000 subscriber Ask Me Almost Anything, we got up to like 4,000, I think, at one point. But that was probably because it was the first time I did a face cam. So about 50% of people have voted so far, and the winning vote is $1 million. Averaging in around $1 million between the top three choices. And you're all wrong. Well, you're not all wrong. 23% of you are correct. I have $2 million in life insurance. $2 million in life insurance. That's a shit ton of life insurance. And guess what? You probably need that much life insurance too. But anyway, I'm not trying to sell you life insurance. I don't sell life insurance anymore. I'm not going to keep talking about this. But the whole point is just that you need to go and see a professional. That's my whole point. For me, at this point, yeah, actually, I probably should reevaluate. I probably need more now. So, but like the reason why, here's the argument for why you need, why I at the time I had $2 million in life insurance. The idea being you take $2 million. What's that live now? That's the viewer count. I decided to turn that on. That's how many people are watching the stream right now. So, okay, like the idea being like you need about 10 times your annual income in life insurance is what you should have. And this coming from someone who did 6.5, 7 years in the insurance business. What does $2 million in life insurance do for you? It doesn't do anything for you. If you die, it does things for the people that you care about. That's the whole, kind of the whole point. It doesn't do anything for you. But the idea is income replacement, right? Like I'm young, I'm only 29. No, I'm not. I'm in my 30s now. I'm 31. You need 10 times your annual income in life insurance because that way, if you took the money and you invested it, you would be able to replace your income. So if you make 50 grand a year and you had $500,000 in life insurance and you invested that in the stock market and you average, say, 10, 12% a year, historically, over the course of a long period of time, you'd average about that much, about 12% a year annual return, then you would replace your lost income, which means that your family would stay in their homes and they would... how are we on insurance? We're not supposed to spend the whole damn stream talking about insurance. I don't want to talk about insurance anymore. Anyway, my whole point is just that you're supposed to have the right amount of insurance. And you should see professionals for all things. That's my point. There. If you have a toothache, see a dentist. If you have depression, see a psychiatrist. If you are young, go see an insurance professional. Chances are, if you have a child, you need to go see a life insurance professional. You have to. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get off the insurance topic, okay? I don't want to spend the whole damn stream talking about insurance. My mom, my sister, my wife, everyone's gonna get mad at me for talking about insurance the whole stream like I did last year. What is your favorite Europa Universalis 4 feature? Tubis wants to know. My favorite feature in EU4. Let's see. Favorite feature. Probably gonna say vassal feeding. I like having autonomy. I like having vassals do things for me. I wish that the AI was better so that the AI, like I would really prefer if the AI would just give me complete control of their armies. If there was a button where I could assume control of their command, that would be amazing. But I just love the fact that they have their own monarch points, they provide you with generals, they have their own manpower pool, they have their own flat income, their own flat manpower, minimum 10k. Like, vassals are really, really cool in EU4. So, I really do like vassal feeding. I think it's the right way to go. Have you ever been abroad? If so, where to? Nisi wants to know. Let's see, I've been to, I think, about 13, 14 countries so far. Let's see if I can remember them off the top of my head. I have been to, obviously, the United States. That's where I live. I have been to Canada. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Jamaica. I've been to Colombia. I've been to England. I've been to Scotland. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Sweden. I have been to Austria. I've been to Germany. I've been to France. I've been to Italy. I've been to I don't remember how many that is. I've been around a little bit. Not as much as I'd like, but more than most. So, it's been pretty good. Would you move to Sweden and work for Paradox as a quality assurance? No. I would consider moving to Sweden. I really honestly would. Sweden has some really good insurance. They have some really good healthcare. They have really good quality of life type stuff. They're kind of a socialized country. They are, it's a really neat place. I've been there personally twice. Almost every person I've met, I've liked from Sweden. But working, I did not mean to bring it back to insurance, okay? But they have awesome internet, and hey, Paradox lives there, so I've often joked around with Wiz, just saying like, hey, you know, if I could, I'd live in Sweden, and I would just stop by like every week and just be like, hey, what you working on? Can I play some? And that's basically how Quill got his early access to Stellaris. So, you know, just being present could be cool. But no, at this point, honestly, I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing right now, so I don't see myself stopping what I'm doing to go work for a game company. Not to mention I don't have the education necessary to do what they would ask of me. I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do, I think. I'm very good at learning, I'm very good at solving problems, and my Google Foo is strong. Anything that I need to learn, I can teach myself. But my understanding of what like Paradox would want is they want people who know how to code. They can, you know, they know multiple coding languages, and I don't know how to do those things. I only took C++ in college, and that was about it. That's the extent of my coding experience. Has there been any response from Paradox to your adjustments video for Stellaris? Says Zazazin. No, not yet. I've already done 2, in fact. The second one went live today. I would love to see an official response. Wiz was really the one who like took it upon himself to make it into an official response type thing. And I thought that was brilliant on his part. I don't know if the guys running Stellaris, which is, it's not Wiz, it's not Johan, it is Henrik Faurus, is the Stellaris lead developer right now. He's a great guy, but I don't know if he is the type of person who is going to actually do a video response. I think from a PR standpoint, it would be really good of them. I also think that if they were to take, I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, right? Like, I don't even care. They could take all the stuff that I said they should change and do none of it. But if they could at least address the fact that the community as a whole is like banding together and saying, hey, these are the things about the game that we love, these are the things that we want to be different. If they could like have more community outreach and react to what we're asking for, I think that would be just a really good PR stunt, a PR move for them. So hopefully they do respond to it. If you had a chance to go to space, would you? And if so, how long? Asks Owl Heaven 2. It's my undying life goal to go to outer space. I believe that I have some dire thoughts about the future of humanity if we don't press onward towards space. Let me get a little bit dark here for a moment, okay? This happened last stream too, and I don't mind going in this direction because, hey, you asked the question. So, and ask me almost anything, I'm going to give you my answer, okay? I have a rather bleak outlook on the life of, like humanity in general if we don't get off this goddamn planet. And here's why. We've got the United States government spending more than like the top 10 other countries in the world on military spending. Every country has more nuclear missiles necessary to put us into like permanent blackout. Like we could have a permanent nuclear winter tomorrow if just one person shoots a nuke. Like, we owe it to our species. Like, we are the stupidest species on the planet, as smart as we think we are, to not get the fuck off this goddamn planet and spread out a little bit. We need to spread out a little bit, okay? So that if we have nuclear winter on Earth, at least there's going to be, like, a couple people still alive on another planet. You know? Like, wouldn't it be great if, like, we nuked ourselves into oblivion, but we still had some colonies on the moon and Mars, and, like, humanity could survive? That would be smart. I think that'd be a good idea. So, here's a crazy idea. What if we spent like, oh, I don't know, half as much money on military stuff and spent the other half on going to the moon and going to Mars and doing terraforming and all this other cool stuff that we're doing in like TV shows and movies and like in books and science fiction, and like we're thinking about it and we know that it could happen. It should be possible. Like, I strongly believe we should be able to terraform the moon and Mars. I really think we should be able to do it. I think we're smart enough. I think we can do it. So let's get out there and goddamn do it before we die. Right? Like, ugh, just drives me nuts. Drives me bonkers to think that we're not doing it, that we're not focusing on the right things. How do you feel about creating niche content or having a wide variety of content? Asks JD Athenry. I'm realizing that the more and more niche my audience gets, the harder and harder it gets to become broad. It's difficult. Like, if I try to branch out into a new genre, it usually doesn't go well for me because my audience is very niche and I don't like that. I'm concerned. I do have some genuine concerns about the longevity of my channel's future. Let's just say, for example, that the next couple Paradox releases are bad. I don't think that they will be, but let's just say that they are bad. Then what is that going to do to my channel? Well, my channel kind of lives and dies with Paradox's success right now, and that's a scary thought to be, a scary position to be in. I would like to have more of a safety net, and so I need to expand into other games. I need to expand into other genres that people would be interested in. I mean, I don't think that, like, okay, let's just say I stop playing Paradox games tomorrow and I just never ever played another Paradox game again. I think the channel would do fine. It would be a troubling period. Views would go down like crazy. We'd probably see a huge reduction in subscriber numbers, like people would unsubscribe. But the channel would survive, and I could make that hard right turn. You know, the 180. I could do it. But I don't want to have to do that. But anyway, it's just, yeah, I think that spreading out, having a niche audience is good for very tiny channels, not good for big channels. Will you make a keyboard shortcuts mod for Stellaris and later for Hearts of Iron 4 when released? Also, do you have a vague plan about how many videos will be EU4, Hearts of Iron 4, Stellaris, other in your schedule once Hearts of Iron 4 is released? Asks Unfaced. Yes, I do. I currently have a list of potential keyboard shortcuts that I'd like to implement for Stellaris. I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing with my Stellaris changes notes, you know, my adjustments thing. And one of these days, I'm going to sit down and stop playing the game and actually mod it so that I can get the keyboard shortcuts where I want them. I don't understand. They did it in EU4 just like I did. They implemented my keyboard shortcuts for EU4. They implemented them in CK2, and then they make a new game and they don't implement them. Z and C should be cancel and accept. That should just be the way it always is, and yet we're right back to escape and enter again, and I don't freaking get it. They need to not do that. It's Z and C. I've got to get that patched in. As far as balance goes, depending on how well Hearts of Iron 4 is received, I do know for sure I do not want to do the same thing that I did with Stellaris. I went way too hard on Stellaris. I thought going crazy on Stellaris was going to be a really good thing, and it was okay, but it wasn't a good idea. I did like 8 videos a day of Stellaris for like 2 weeks straight, and that was wrong. What I should have done is 2 or 3 per day, and then I should have kept my other content going. I should have been more balanced in my approach. I was too extreme. And you know what they say? Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. There is such a thing. C should not be for C for ships and cannons selected. That's different. You're talking about E4 when you have an army selected? No, that's fine. We're talking about something different. Anyway, no, I should have been more diverse in my content when Stellaris came out. And the problem is that I really liked the game. It was a lot of fun, and I wanted to play it. But now I'm also really frustrated, and I can't, I don't want to play it now until the next patch, because there's just too much, pardon the language, but there's just too much shit that's wrong with the game right now for it to really truly be enjoyable. Like, most notably, And again, this is weird content to be talking about in an Ask Me Almost Anything, because it's going to be different. It'll be different by the time you watch this video. But, like right now in the current release of Stellaris in like version 1.03, you shouldn't scan debris, you shouldn't ever contact aliens, you shouldn't ever do any of those things, because then you don't get any of your research. You just don't store research. So doing anything that pauses research completely bones you on research. So, like, I just don't want to play. I want the next patch really, 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 really badly. Like, right now. I want the nightly build. So, as far as, like, the schedule goes, like, what do I plan on doing with Hearts of Iron 4? I'm thinking I'm going to force myself down to, at most, 4 videos a day of Hearts of Iron 4 for the first couple days. And then we're going to tune it or tone it back down to 2 or 3. But I'm probably going to just go with, like, 2 Hearts of Iron 4, 2 Stellaris, 1 EU4, 1 CK2, 1 Factorio, and then 1 whatever else. Like, I need balance. I need to force myself to get back to balanced. And most notably, to make that happen, I need to stop playing Dota. I can't keep playing Dota. Dota's taking up too much of my time right now, and that's bad. Next question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Still being a YouTuber? Asks Wakamola. That is an interesting existential question. What will be different 10 years from now? YouTube could be gone. YouTube could be a completely different entity. We could be on Daily Motion, for all I know. I highly doubt that would happen. I think Google is a very strong company. They're going to keep YouTube going. The method of compensation could be completely different 10 years from now. I'm very happy with the lifestyle that I'm building for my family. I'm very happy with the quote-unquote career that I have. And I would like to be able to continue doing what I'm doing. In theory, if I keep doing what I'm doing over the course of 10 years, things should just get better and better and better. Will they in reality? I don't know. We just saw on my my Patreon video that CPM, cash per meal, the amount of money that advertisers are paying per 1,000 ad impressions, at least in the first quarter of this year, is down 50% from what it was 2 years ago. That's pretty crap. That's really bad. Like, what happens if in 3 years CPM is down another 50%? Now all of a sudden you need to get twice as many views to get the same kind of income, and like, it could become very, very difficult to support yourself. Which is one of the reasons why I'm approaching, moving towards Patreon. And at some point during this stream, I am going to take like a 10-minute break, and I'm going to run my Patreon promotional video as an ad while I go get like a soda and stuff and go to the bathroom. We'll do that in probably about an hour, so about halfway through the AMA. But you really got to hear the argument for why Patreon is a good way to go. There is, there's some concerns about the current monetization strategy that YouTube is using. If you could meet one person who is no longer alive, who would they be? Isaac Newton or Galileo? Like I would love to have met some of these people who were supposed geniuses and see what kind of people they were like in real life. Because I bet they were just normal people. I bet that they have been elevated to this level in our minds. Like we think that they're like these crazy psychopathic genius people, but really they're probably normal people who just were profoundly deep and thoughtful and just thought about things a lot. And it'd be really neat to meet some of them. Is this going to be on YouTube in case people miss it? Yes it will. Are you a cyborg? No, not yet, but I want to be. Do you get 100% off of Patreon donations? No, the revenue share is about 85%. You donate $1 on Patreon, about 85% of that actually makes its way to my pocket, which is a relatively amazing revenue share. The only better revenue share I've seen is direct PayPal subscriptions, which is like 95% revenue share. But I think Patreon's a better platform. I really do, because there's the potential for more cool Patreon stuff that we can do. And I feel like 85% is good enough. I'm not going to try to squeeze out that last 10%, because the problem is with a direct PayPal subscription, you get nothing really, except for you feel good about supporting me. But with Patreon, you get to be inclusive in a group of people, and I get to do cool stuff with you, and I get to use your names and like put you in games. And one of the things we're doing right now, my channel artist is helping me to put together a mod that's going to take all of our Patreon subscribers, and we're going to create a custom race, and it's going to have all of their names programmed into it so that I can just like play that race, and it will automatically name all of our characters will just be random patrons, which will be really cool. As far as the "Are you a cyborg" thing, I love this question. I love this question. Let me ask you this question. If you could... Okay, I've had LASIK surgery. I've had LASIK eye surgery in the past, which took my vision from bad to perfect. Since then, I've gotten about 10 years older and my vision's not perfect again. Let me ask you this question. If you could go in and get surgery tomorrow where they would physically remove one of your eyes, I'm talking literally physically remove the eye and put in an artificial one, a bionic eye, and this bionic eye came programmed with the capacity to interface to your nerves, and so you could use it to see, and it came with a hard drive, and it came with the capacity to store information, would you do it? And we're talking about removing a fully functional good eye. I'm not talking about people who are already blind. I'm talking about, hey, your eye's fine, but let's just remove one anyway. Creepy, right? It's a creepy question. The answer for me? Hell yes. I would do it. I would pay money for it. You offer me the opportunity to spend $20,000 to go get a bionic eye that I could use to see with better than 20/20 vision, record my vision, play it back over time, I would do it. Absolutely. What if the risk chance was 50% of failure? Would you still do it? Now you're starting to get now it's starting to get a little bit freaky. Like, I don't know. Well, shit. Now I might only have one eye for the rest of my life. The bionic eye failed. But I'm a transhumanist, which is one of the reasons why our very first campaign in Stellaris was called the Transhuman Union. I'm a transhumanist, meaning that I believe that we have stopped. My personal belief is we have stopped evolving as a species. We talked about this in the last Ask Me Almost Anything. And the reason why we've stopped evolving as a species is because we have removed all selective pressure against us on a biological level. Nothing eats us. Nothing really. I mean, occasionally a shark, occasionally a lion, you know, whatever. Occasionally a snake will bite someone or whatever. But in general, like, we're the apex predator on our planet. There's no reason for us to evolve. There's no reason for us to get any better. We actively promote we actively promote the procreation of people who are mentally incapacitated. We have no issue whatsoever with people giving birth to Down syndrome babies. We have zero selective pressure against us. So, in my mind, then, the only way for us to continue evolving is to evolve on a technological level. We need to use our intelligence, we need to use our minds, we need to adapt and merge with our technology. And that's going to start. It already is happening. It's happening now. I'm not talking about... Don't get me wrong here. Don't get all crazy here and think that, oh, this guy sounds like Hitler. He wants to, you know, the Jews and kill the Jews because they're bad. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about it's already happening. Like, have you seen the Special Olympics where you've got people who are capable of running faster than the fastest Olympian, the fastest organic Olympic person with their slicer blade leg things. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where like amputees have these legs that have this methodology of movement, and it's better than regular legs. That's crazy. That's awesome. Like, we need to keep doing that. We should do that more. Like, we should try to keep doing that. So I'm all for bionics. I'm all for, you know, a long time ago, I had these two ideas. These two ideas when I was a kid. I thought it was going to make me rich one day. I said, and I don't mind sharing because it doesn't matter at this point. I'm not going to, it makes no difference. But I used to think, you know what we should do? Police officers, you know, they're like just normal people. But what if we made police officers train in a specialized compound where they had to live in it, and there was like this big, huge centrifugal force, like this big disc spinning underneath the compound, creating artificial gravity. And what if they like had to live there all the time? They like slowly ramp up the gravity at like, you know, 1.05 Gs, then 1.1 Gs, then 1.15 Gs. And what if by the end of the day, what if after a couple of years of living there, they were up to 1.5 Gs or 2 Gs, and they're just used to it? Like, what if the human body just suddenly was used to living under 2 Gs, and then they went out to do their shift? And then they went out to go be a cop in the real world. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how like freaking crazy strong they'd be? It'd be like they were on the moon. Well, sure, of course the skeletal structure would have problems, but that's where we'd have to find the capacity, how high it could go. Maybe 2 Gs is too much, but maybe they could handle like 1.15. I'd still be willing to make a bet that 1.15, if you always were under 1.15 Gs, then living under 1 G, you would suddenly feel hugely strong. You would feel super strong compared to normal. But anyway, that, and then also, I believe that we're missing an organ. There's an organ missing from our body. It's not an organic organ, it is a technological organ. We need an organ that we insert into ourselves at a young age that creates stem cells, that circulates stem cells through the bloodstream. Because it has been proven, I've read documents that say so, that, ooh, we have a subscriber. His name is Deadly Ginger 42699. Welcome. Thanks for subscribing, I appreciate it. Anyway, it has been proven that if you put a stem cell adjacent to damaged tissue, it will become the right tissue. It will just do, it'll just mutate or do whatever it's supposed to do, become the right thing. So what we need is some sort of a technological organ that creates stem cells of your genes, of your body type, and has them available to you so that you can regrow organs. And then potentially we could live forever. I really hope that we can live forever. I hate the idea of death. Death terrifies me. I do not want to die. I'm the type of person, I believe 100% fully that when you die, everything goes black and it's just over. There is no insert new coin. There is no afterlife. There is no anything. It's just blackness. And not blackness like it's dark outside or my eyes are closed and I can't see, but like the eternity of absence of light, absence of everything. I believe when we die, it's the same thing that a computer experiences when you turn it off. That it's just off. It's gone. And it's terrifying to me. I do not want that. Under any circumstances do I ever want that to happen. It terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me. By the way, if you guys are interested in some of the stuff that we're talking about, there is a series on Netflix that you should go watch. Let me see if I can find it. Can't remember what it's called. Someone will probably know what I'm talking about just because I'm mentioning it right now. It's like Black something. Black Mirror? Does that sound familiar? Let me find it. Or I'll just wait for Twitch. I think Black Mirror, right? I'm not wrong. Yeah, there we go. Black Mirror. I was right. Go watch freaking Black Mirror. All 6 episodes right now. It is the most terrifying and cool shit you'll find on Netflix. I swear to God, it is amazing. Black Mirror is like some of it's terrifying, you know, but some of it is, I mean, like, it's the future. Like, it's gonna happen. It's really, really good stuff. Anyway, let's answer some more questions here. When did you start PC gaming? Says Kane. Kane wants to know. When I was like 5. I quickly gravitated from the filthy peasantry of, no, I'm not sponsored by Netflix. I applied to be sponsored by Netflix and they declined me, and I don't know why. One of these days I'm going to try to get them again. I'd love to be sponsored by Netflix. They pay great. Netflix compensation works based on a trial basis, so the way that they pay you is, the more people you get to sign up for their free trial, the more money they give you. They give you a commission for getting people to try the trial. And they pay pretty well. So I would love to just be able to tack something on the end of every video, say, hey, by the way, this video is sponsored by Netflix. Go try this free link here. Go try out Netflix free for a month. It'd be amazing. I could make so much money off that. Netflix, hear me out, Netflix. I will promote you. I watch Netflix lots. Cinderella Oculary has just subscribed on Twitter or Twitch. Thank you. Appreciate it. What nation will you be playing first in Hearts of Iron 4? Probably Germany. It's going to be boring, but I'm going to play as Germany, and I just want to play as Germany better than everyone else. I'm hoping that I get the game early enough that I can perfect my play, and I want to be the best Germany player on YouTube at release. That's probably my goal. I want to kick everyone's ass. I want to conquer the world. I want to be the best Nazi badass motherfucker in Hearts of Iron 4 I can be. My cord cutter, 100%, hell yeah. I haven't had TV subscription in 5-6 years. I have not seen the Black Mirror Christmas special. No, I did not watch that one. I watched the 6 episodes. You know what? The one that really got me was the one where they like created like the fake person, and then like she told him to jump off the cliff and he didn't, and then he just like lives in the attic. That was creepy. That was really creepy. Do you think that humanity could actually reach the stars and colonize planets beyond our own solar system in Stellaris? If so, how do you think we could achieve such a feat? Absolutely, we could do it right now if people were committed enough. Do you know how people decided to like leave? Pita has subscribed. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. Do you know how people decided when they were like, okay, we're in Europe, we think there might be some path to India, so we're just gonna like get on these boats and like just go west for a while and hope to find India? Like, that's how they found the Americas. Like a prayer and a dream, like a hope and a dream. What we need, or we could do it right freaking now if we had generational ships, or if we just had some method of cryogenic freezing, and we just started, just 4 years to Alpha Centauri, 4 light years. Send the ship. Go now. I don't care how long it takes. 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, whatever. Get their asses on those boats. Get going. You never know. You never know. They could end up becoming like the sole survivors of the human race because Earth gets hit by a meteor, and thank God they were on their spaceship and it was already off the system. Yeah, I know 4 light years is really, really far away. I have a general concept of how far a light year is. But they should do it. You should do it anyway. You should just do it. Do you prefer coffee or tea? I prefer tea. What games do you play and don't upload footage of? Let's see. I play quite a bit more Hearthstone and Dota than I would like you to believe. The number of hours of Dota that I've played is rather disgusting. Where did the name Arumba07 come from? So, okay, that's kind of a funny story. Like a year, well, at this point, 3 or 4 years ago, when I first made my channel, and started uploading videos, I wanted the name Aroomba. But I made my account Aroomba07 in the year 2007. And I petitioned YouTube to get my name changed to Aroomba. There was some guy who lived in Romania who had the name Aroomba. He had never uploaded a video, he had never done anything with his channel, and he just had created an account. It was an inactive account. And back then, they allowed you to take over inactive accounts. But then they somehow decided that they weren't going to do that anymore, and then they just never let me do it. And so I'm still at Roomba07. Fortunately, I was able to set up a HTTP, whatever it's called, redirect. So if you just go to youtube.com/Roomba, it goes to me. So it's basically the same thing. And if you just search for Aroomba, that's me. Like, I'm Aroomba. There is no Aroomba07. The 07 means nothing anymore. Not really. Can you try to pronounce this Dutch? Ik heb 200.000 abonnees. There, tried. What are some games you will be playing in the future? Hearts of Iron 4. We will be trying out Tyranny. We will be probably trying out Civilization 6. We will be trying out whatever else comes to mind that seems good. I don't know. What is the purpose of your YouTube channel? At this point, it's to provide entertaining content whenever possible and provide a lifestyle and living for my family. Burger with or without pickles? No freaking pickles. Disgusting. Even the remnants of pickle juice on a burger are disgusting. I can tell. Mountain Blade, definitely we'll be playing Mountain Blade. Yeah, don't forget about that. If you get a burger from like McDonald's or Burger King and they put freaking pickles on there and you have to take the pickles off, it's almost as bad as if you had pickles on there to begin with. Pickles are gross, man. No way, no pickles. Favorite ship from sci-fi? Let's see. I liked in Star Trek Voyager, there was a ship. It was a future ship. It was an episode. Okay, someone will remember the episode for me. It was the episode late into the series where the Doctor was a full-fledged character, right? He had stopped becoming like an automaton. He wasn't just like a program. He was a full-fledged character. And they sent him through a data stream into a ship. And the ship was empty. And there was another hologram. And they had to fight off the bad guys. And this ship had this attack mode where it like split into 3 parts and just like beat the shit out of everything. It was awesome. That was a great episode. I loved the interaction between the Doctor and the other guy, the other Doctor. They picked a great character to play both of them. The Doctor, I thought, was the best character in Star Trek Voyager. He was my favorite. Second to 7 of 9. Only because I was younger and she had really big boobs. And she wore really, really skin-tight outfits all the time. She was really hot. Janeway and B'Elanna weren't bad, but 7 of 9? Shit, I know her real name. If I think about it for a second. Jerry Ryan. Look at that. Damn, right? 7 of 9. Hot. So hot. Still the second best character, though, because the Doctor was better. If you could work for any company in the world, which would it be and why? Google. I mean, I indirectly work for Google, kind of, through YouTube, but working directly for Google would be cool. I don't know what I would do for them, but I'd love to work for them. That'd be cool. What is your age? I am 31? 31? Yeah, 31. Had to check. Isn't that weird that you get older and you have to check because it doesn't matter to you as much? Any chance you can host another game with EU4 with your fans? Probably no. However, Stellaris, that's the next thing. I think I'm going to do a Stellaris multiplayer campaign with some Patreon subscribers or Twitch subscribers or something. I think that will be a lot of fun. Because I think that Stellaris is probably better played in multiplayer right now than it is in single player due to all the bugs. So that could be good. I'd love to do multiplayer Stellaris. What is the game you dislike the most but is popular? League of Legends. League of Legends is a crock of shit. It is a bastardized version of Dota that only became popular because Valve sat on their ass and didn't publish Dota fast enough. And because Blizzard was, unfortunately, an idiot and didn't take advantage of the most popular MOBA ever created. And so they somehow let League of Legends slip in under the radar and become more popular, and League of Legends is shit. League of Legends is a stupid game, it shouldn't exist. What is your favorite color? Blue? I like blue. If you can beat anyone in the world, who would it be? And who if you could travel through time? If I can meet anyone in the world. You know who I would have loved to have been able to get to know and talk to is Christopher Hitchens, which, if you're not familiar, is recently deceased, sadly, prominent, well-spoken atheist, and not in a spiteful atheist kind of way, but in a very well-educated, argumentative, like well-arguable, like good at articulating himself, atheist. I would have loved to have gotten to know him. Great man. Sadly missed. If you do not mind answering this, how many subs do you have when you started doing YouTube as a full-time job? Also, remind me, where are you from? I'm from Michigan. I live now in Florida. I started doing YouTube full-time when I realized that I could pay for my living expenses, which at the time was like $3,000. That was when I said, okay, if I can make my living expenses committed to it as I am now, then if I commit to it harder, then I can make more than my living expenses. So that was when it made clear that I could do that. So it was around like 30,000 subscribers, I think it was, that I fully quit doing insurance. I was kind of trying to do insurance down here in Florida, but I didn't really want to start over again. It takes like 2 to 3 years to really build up a client base, and after having moved from Michigan after all the bullshit fiasco in Michigan, I just didn't want to start over. Plus the insurance is different down here. Down in Florida, they want you to sell Medicare Advantage plans, which is basically free insurance. Guess how much money you make selling free insurance? I'll give you a hint. It's not very much. Free insurance is free. Therefore, you don't get paid very much to sell it. So it's a shitty way to sell insurance down here. In Michigan, it's different. You sell Medicare supplements. They supplement Medicare instead of being a replacement to Medicare. And so you got much larger commissions. And yeah. I really don't want to go into the big, huge fiasco in Michigan. We talked about that last time. It was just a bunch of bullshit. And again, I'm trying to avoid the insurance topic, so we're going to skip. How does it make you feel knowing that some random guy online might be interested in your life more than he is in his own? Well, so long as it's a healthy thing, like, you know, I mean, I do have some concerns that there's a lot of people out there who are at varying levels of mental health. And so, I mean, on the one end of the spectrum, you might have someone who's like just a genius, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you might have someone who's a stalker or something, and so that can be kind of scary. But just in general, someone being like, okay, I'm gonna take that question this way. If someone's sad and they're depressed, or they're going through a hard time in their life, or like their family's in shambles, or their dad has cancer, or whatever, and I'm providing them with something to make them a little bit less unhappy, and that's how I'm taking that question. Like, they're more interested in what I have to say, they're more interested in my videos than than their own life right now because their own life right now kind of sucks, then I'm very happy to be able to provide that surface. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten messages from people who say, "Hey man, you know, I'm having a really hard time and you got me through this," and or they say, I'm 15 and I'm really having a hard time right now, and you know, watching your videos does a lot for me. I love hearing those types of comments. So who do you think will win the Game of Thrones, and whom do you wish it to be? Whom do you think will win the Game of Thrones? See, that's a dangerous topic, because there could easily be spoilers. Depends, are you into the 6th book, or the content of the 6th season? Or are you just now getting into it? I'm like 90% sure that George R.R. Martin's gonna die before all the books are done. Because that guy writes slow as shit. That guy, he writes too slowly. So, okay. I'm gonna give you guys a 15-second head start. Okay? 15-second head start. I am going to give my predictions, and in my predictions, there will be spoilers. So, if you are not interested in any spoiling whatsoever, mute the stream for about 30 seconds, starting now. And now I'm going to wait just an extra couple seconds, just to make sure. I think Jon Snow is going to be the guy. And here's my theory. I don't remember character names very well. I'm not very good with names. I think that Jon Snow is the bastard son of Eddard Stark and a Targaryen, and I think that basically makes him like a half-brother to Daenerys somehow or something. And that means that he actually is going to be able to control dragons or some shit. And I think it's going to be Jon Snow. That's my theory. We know for sure he's the bastard, and he was married. We know it's not just some chick. It's someone special. It's important. I don't know who else it could have been. I don't know who it is, but that's just my theory. All right. Moving on. Okay. So does so much gaming make you feel tired all the time? Yeah, actually it does. I am exhausted all the time. It's one of the reasons why I'm addicted yet again to Mountain Dew. I was off Mountain Dew for almost a whole year. And then now I'm drinking it again. The caffeine it helps. I am tired all the time. What is your opinion about Total War games? If we're being totally off the cuff, they are subpar. They are shoddily produced. They appeal to a completely different audience. They are the Call of Duty of grand strategy. I dislike Total War games. Do you like Star Trek or Stargate the most? Well, I only watched Stargate SG-9. And I really only heavily got into Star Trek Voyager. I watched some Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I'd have to say Star Trek. Star Trek Voyager is like my favorite TV series ever. I've watched that thing like 4 times. I just love it. I love the CGI in it. I have a hard time getting into the other Star Treks because the CGI was so bad. Stargate SG-9 was really good, though. How do you remember your college years? Was it fun? I remember my college years like I remember every year that I was younger. I wish I did everything differently. I wish I was more bold. You know that, you guys watch Rick and Morty? Because if you don't, you should, first off. You know that episode in Rick and Morty where they go to it's like the arcade, and Rick makes Morty, he like plugs him into a game, and he's like playing the game. He's playing this game of life, and he like lives his whole life, and then he falls off of a stool at the end of his life, falls over and dies. And then he's like freaked out. And he's like, what happened to my wife? What happened to my kids? And then Rick makes fun of him for like going back to work at the library or whatever. And then Rick ends up going and he plays the game and he goes off the grid and all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, if that ever happened to me, like if I woke up tomorrow and realized that this, like my whole life was just like fake, and now I'm 15 again, I would do everything so different. I would be so much more bold. I would have so much less care for what other people think of me. I would be so much more aggressive with my ambitions and the things that I want, and I wouldn't be afraid of rejection. I would ask girls out. I would ask for job interviews. I would say what I want to say, and it's just so little time. We're all gonna die. I mean, I don't want to die. It's my biggest fear that I will die, but we're all gonna die. Like, I have this feeling that's going to happen no matter what. So I would just go back and I'd be so much more aggressive in almost every way that I could. Where do you think Paradox should draw the line between patches for Stellaris and DLC? I would really like to see, and I don't think I have any power over this whatsoever. I really don't. I don't think that my comments are going to have any impact whatsoever. You will reach the singularity. Sir Loyalheart, if you're right, I will love you forever. I really, really, really hope so. I have this terrible, terrible fear that I am born 20 years too soon, and that I'm going to miss the singularity. But anyway, back to this question. Where do we... Okay, I don't think I have enough influence, and I don't know that I could ever get enough influence to do it, but I feel like Paradox has done really, really well. Their model is working. They've done fantastically with EU4. The DLC model for EU4 has worked really well for them. They've made good money, and they've had increasing sales with DLCs. They've said, despite the vocal minority, that people buy the DLC, people like the DLC, it's good stuff. I know for a fact they did really, really well with their partnership with City Skylines and Colossal Order. I know Stellaris is kicking ass. I know Hearts of Iron 4 is going to kick ass. And I would really appreciate it if Paradox would gravitate away from a DLC model. I know it's worked for them, but I also feel like the reason they did it is because they needed the money. I feel like that was the primary motivator for releasing content the way they did. They were like, well, hey, we're in between major content. We have nothing for our artists to do. How about we have them go make a bunch of artist packs, some new artwork and shit, and we'll sell it for $1.50 as a DLC. And that worked, and it made them a little bit of money. And then they started to say, well, we could break apart the content into, like, you know, every couple months we could get some cash influx for $15. And that works. But I feel like they're a better company than that now. They don't need the money that same way. And so now they need to gravitate away from that. Like, here's an example. The last time that I was at Paradox Con, I sat in front of Fred Wester, the CEO of Paradox, and listened to him talk about how he envisions the company. And he said, and they say, that they want to be like Blizzard Entertainment. Not Blizzard Entertainment, not Activision Blizzard, the sellout shithouse company, which has gone downhill, but like Blizzard Entertainment, like the great Blizzard Entertainment, back when it was Blizzard Entertainment. They want to release it when it's ready. They want to release high-quality games. They want to be the best of the best. They want to do all these things, right? Blizzard didn't release DLC like this. They released expansions. I'm okay with expansions, but I want them to be like full-on expansions, and I don't want them to be like every 2 months we're gonna punch out whatever shit we can put together in 2 months. I mean, like, okay, we release this game now, and we're gonna put together an expansion, and maybe it'll take 3 weeks, maybe it'll take 3 months, maybe it'll take 9 months, maybe it'll take a year. But let it take what it takes. I would rather that they do expansions than this DLC model. Now that they have a better base, they have more income, they have more cash flow. I feel like there is a growing contempt for the DLC model. And I could be completely wrong. I mean, I don't have the stats that they do. But I would just like to see it be different. Will the 300,000 subscribers be a topless AMAA? If I'm in shape, sure. If I'm ripped, I've lost 17 pounds in the last 3 months, so that's good. I'd like to lose another 12, and then I want to start lifting. If I'm ripped, sure. We'll make that promise. Why not? Is there a mechanic in an older Paradox game that was done better than a modern one? Yeah. Victoria 2. You can train troops and they rally to a centralized location. You can't do that in EU4. You can't do that in Stellaris. Kind of weird. A while ago, I think even before 100K, you said you had a plan to take over YouTube and you explained that you were planning on running a multi-channel network. Is that project dead? I've kind of lost interest in the concept of changing gears and doing an MCN. I think that it's an alternative method to doing the same thing. I would rather, I think, just keep doing what I'm doing and just enjoy what I'm doing. I think probably moving forward, what I'm going to do is fewer videos, but the videos will be longer, and they're going to be only of games that I really want to play. And as the channel gets bigger and bigger, I'll have more control over my income, and I'll be able to just only play what I want to play. And hopefully that'll raise the content quality. How did you lose 17 pounds? Got any advice? Calories in equals calories out, or however that saying goes. I ate less food. There is no other way to do it. It's just caloric intake. You have something called I think it's called a basal metabolic rate. That is the caloric burn rate that you have. How many calories does it take to sustain you as an organism on a daily basis? You eat calories, you eat food. Food goes in your body, it gets burned. If your caloric intake exceeds your basal metabolic rate and you don't work out, then you get fat. You gain weight. If you eat less than your basal metabolic rate, you lose weight. Very simple concept. That's the only secret. There's nothing else to it. So, what is your least favorite thing you have done on YouTube? I accidentally posted a video of me beating up a guy who was AFK in Hearthstone. It has like 60% dislikes. That was my worst video ever made. I shouldn't have done that. It was part of a batch, and I forgot that it was in there. So it was like literally like a 3 or 4 minute video of me beating up on some guy that just wasn't there. It's great content, right? Do you have any plans to do reasonably large Stellaris multiplayer streams with Twitch subscribers? Yeah, I think we do that soon. Soon. How many children do we have? I have 3 children. What are their names? Nicholas, Isabella, and Sebastian. Can we see them? Yeah, I posted a picture on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. This was when I was going through my like super crazy, weird, depressed mode. I was doing some weird tweets for a while. Let's go Twitter, my posts, view profile, tweets, go back. Go back. It was a while ago. Okay, 1 second. There you go. There's a picture of the fam in Colombia. They're a little bit young there. That's probably about a year ago. That was a real horse. I got to sit on it. It was a nice horse. Okay, back to questions. What made you want to start to do YouTube in the first place? Hopefully Quill can take this the right way. I've told him about it before, and I've been very blunt with him about it. I had been playing CK2 for about a year, and I was very good at it by myself, solo. And I was online watching someone else play, and I found his videos, and he sucked at Crusader Kings 2. He was really bad at it. And so I just thought to myself, well, someone's got to put good videos of this game up on YouTube, so I will, because this guy's videos suck. And if you ask Quill, he'll tell you that he's not very good at CK2. So I'm not really really digging at him here by saying that. How did you meet Shen? It was a CK2 succession type game that on the CK2 subreddit, Kelvin, Shen, and I somehow got into a thing where people were arguing over who was the best, and so we ended up playing together. So I met Shen the same time I met Kelvin. What kind of person was you in high school? I was a band geek. I was an athletic band geek, would be a good way to put it. I was in the band. I was one of the coolest kids in band. But I was still in band, so I wasn't cool. I wasn't cool in the rest of high school because I was a band geek. I was athletic. I was very, very fit. In fact, I was in the best shape of my life, of course. That's when most people are in the best shape of their life, when I was in high school. I weighed 160, 170 pounds. I could bench 250, 240. I was ripped. I was so strong back then. And unfortunately, due to confidence and, in hindsight now, possibly anxiety, which I had not known that I had anxiety issues. Maybe it would have been different if I had been on anti-anxiety medicines back then. But unfortunately, despite being in good shape and being competitive and all those things, I was not very good at any of the sports that I played. I was never a starter for my soccer team. Even senior year of school, I was there, I played, but I wasn't good enough to be a starter. I just wasn't confident enough to play hard enough to play well. So, it was rough. What's your favorite meal to cook for yourself? Quesadillas. I love quesadillas. I absolutely adore finger food of all kinds. Any kind of food you can eat with your fingers. Oh, I love French fries. I love sandwiches and quesadillas and chicken nuggets and chicken fingers and just any kind of finger food. I love grilled cheese. You know what's really good? Grilled cheese. And you just dip it in ketchup. A grilled ham and cheese sandwich, you just dip it in sandwich and just dip it in the stuff. It's good. Is it break time? It is break time. All right, let's take a break. So what'll happen here, this is the very first time I try this. Let me know how this goes. I'm going to run a local ad, and what that's going to do is it's going to mute my mic. It's going to play my kind of Patreon video that says, "Hey, here's why you should consider subscribing on Patreon." And then when it's done, it's going to go to a countdown timer saying how much time is left. So I'm going to do it's going to be like a 13-minute break, and then I'll be back. The actual video itself is like 11 minutes long. So hopefully this works. We'll see. Let me set up the chrono right now. And we'll go from there. So the chrono's live. And I'll be back soon. Hello and welcome. I am Arumba. Thank you for joining me. This is my Patreon page. So I'm gonna just kind of tell you some information about Patreon and how things have changed over the last couple of years with YouTube, and really just kind of appeal to your sense of logic and reason. I don't know. See if I can convince you to support me on Patreon. I'm also going to show you some information that I think 99% of YouTubers would never show you. I'm going to show you some of the data that I've collected over the last 4 years of doing YouTube. I'm going to share with you CPM rates, which don't even start by saying you're not allowed to do that, because first off, I'm not with a network, and second off, there's nothing in the Google Terms of Service that says you can't discuss your earnings. They do say you can't discuss how much you earn on a specific video, like what type of ads they're being run, like all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to flat, like how much are you making and how many views are you getting, that's totally legal. I can talk about that all I want. So I'm going to talk about it. You may notice that I have my webcam on. I don't normally do that, but I feel like this is a special video, so I want to be able to look at you, looking you in the eye and tell you to, hey, consider what I'm about to say. So let's start off by I'm gonna read to you my reasoning for why you should support me on Patreon. So these days, there are a growing number of forms of internet advertising, and it is invasive and irritating. Many people turn to ad blocking software to improve their viewing experience of web pages and videos. Unfortunately for the content creator, this cuts into their livelihood by cutting off the lion's share of income from their content. I am using Patreon to allow my viewers and subscribers to support me directly, allowing you complete absolution for using an ad blocker. That's right. If you want to use an ad blocker, I'm not going to tell you to stop. I actually have an ad blocker, and I use it pretty profusely on most websites. There's only a few websites that I permit to run ads, and these are websites that I want to support, like, for example, YouTube and Reddit and other places that I feel like, without support, they would go bankrupt. YouTube is one of those businesses that actually continuously loses money on a yearly basis. So you'll see in a moment with the data that I'm going to show you that the industry trend is looking bad. Ad revenue is down. CPM is down. YouTube is getting worse when it comes to ad revenue. That's why they've released things like YouTube Red. And that's why things like Patreon and Subbable have popped up as ways for content creators to seek alternative sources of revenue. Any pledge is worth more than the ad revenue that would be earned. So pledge, block ads, do what you want to do. Before you click off this page, I'd like to give you something to consider. Here's my logical argument for why you should support the channel. Let's just say, in any given month that you have your income and you have your expenses, you budget hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for various things that you need or want. Let's say, for example, you like to go out to dinner, or you like to go to the movies, or you like to buy music or DVDs. What? Why would you buy DVDs? That's just silly. But anyway, let's just say that you did. Whatever form of entertainment you enjoy, you spend money on it. Let's use the moviegoer's example as an idea as an example. The average movie ticket, according to data, at that link that you can see there, costs $7.96 per person as of the most recent data. You pay about $8 to get about 2 hours of entertainment, maybe 3 if you go to one of the longest movies out there. Then you pay like $20 or so for popcorn and a soda. And if you know, another $8 if you bring your date or your spouse, and heaven forbid you bring your children. Trust me, I know, I've got 3. You might spend $50-60 to go to the movies. So once per month, you get entertained for 2 hours, and it costs you somewhere between $8 if you went alone with no snacks, and as much as maybe $36 if you went with your date on an average date. All for a meager 2 hours of entertainment. On the other hand, I put out 8 videos per day every single day that vary between 15 and 25 minutes in length. Let's assume the shortest length for argument's sake and say that I only make 15-minute videos. Times 8 videos a day, times 365 days a year, that's 43,800 minutes of entertainment per year, divided by 12 months, equals 3,650 minutes per month, divided by 60, equals 60.83 hours per month. So, naturally, not everyone's going to watch every single video that goes up on my channel. There's certain series that you're going to be interested in, there's going to be certain series that you're not interested in, but there's going to be some large percentage of it that is going to be viewable. Even if you only watched 1/10 of the videos that I make, you are getting over 6 hours of entertainment per month. Is it a good idea? Is the content as good as a movie? Maybe, but probably not. I mean, it's not like I've got billions of dollars to do grade A production quality type stuff, but it is worth some nominal value that is greater than 0. Yeah, definitely. Someday I hope to have some Patreon-specific only features, like right now we're doing a campaign in Stellaris where I'm using Patreon subscribers to name planets and ships and people and stuff, and I'd like for you to help me to decide what other suitable bonuses would be appropriate. But you decide for yourself. If you enjoy the content and you find yourself waiting for the next video or returning to the channel frequently, and you have the means to financially support me, consider doing so. Thanks for hearing me out. Whether you decide to support me on Patreon or not, glad to have you as a part of the audience. You don't have to do it. By no means is it something where I'm going to be really upset if you don't. And one other thing here, in case you don't like logical arguments, let me just give you one final emotional argument. Just do it because you like me. If you like me, I like you. That's a good enough reason, right? So now next we're going to move into the part that might, I may come to regret, but I'm going to show you the data to back up what I'm saying. If you subscribe and you pledge just $1, you earn me more than any amount of ad viewing you can possibly earn me. I would rather have a huge pyramid of people just pledging $1. Just $1. I mean, if you want to pledge more, great, but I would actually prefer to just have people pledging $1, because I feel like if you pledge $1, it's like the chances of you canceling that at some point are pretty slim, because it's just $1. It's 3 cents a day. For 3 cents a day, you too can support an Roomba. All right, so let's take a look at the data. Again, since I'm showing you CPM data, you will also see my earnings income information, which is where some people may say, hey, you shouldn't have shown that, or hey, that's interesting. But hey, this is my livelihood, so I'm going to be open with you, and you can be open with me, and we'll go from there. So I'm an Excel nerd. I like Excel data. Here's some Excel data for you. So I categorize things by date. This is the first year that I did information, back in 2013. I started it in what YouTube considered to be week 9 of YouTube. So I got 1,513 whole views with 0 monetized playbacks because I hadn't enabled YouTube monetization yet, so I earned no money, no ducats. The second full week, I got 4,600 views, and I got 690 monetized playbacks, meaning the number of views where an ad was actually played, and I earned a whole $2.42. Fuck yeah, that was good stuff, man. Percent playbacks total, and then this is the most important category, net CPM. What was the amount of money earned relative to the number of total views? The net dollars per CPM. So my theory here was that when I was brand new and my channel was super small, YouTube just didn't give a shit, and they said, well, it's just, you know, no one's watching this crap, we're not going to put any ads on these videos, these are stupid. And so the net CPM was garbage, but as my view count started to rise, the CPM started to go up. You'll notice that at some point here, the 24th week of the year, I was up to $3.57 CPM. CPM, if you're not familiar, is cash per meal. It's the number of dollars earned per 1,000 views, which is an industry standard. It's something that people talk about. Anyway, long story short, this is the number that's important. The average CPM that was being earned in 2013 was $2.88. So if I had 1,000 views, I was personally earning $2.88 per 1,000 views. Okay? Now, again, hopefully some of you aren't going to lambaste me and say, like, oh my god, why would we support you on Patreon? You're making too much money already. different people have different requirements. They have different expectations as far as livelihood goes. So hopefully this number doesn't do this to you. But my second full year in the industry, I got a little bit lazy on monetized playbacks, but it doesn't really affect the information that we have here. Again, we can see net CPM fluctuating. You can see this is views. This was net revenue. Net CPM, this graph is messed up. Don't pay attention to it. The thing that's important is net CPM 263. So again, we went from 288 to 263. Now in 2015, I have no data because sadly I joined a network, which was a stupid, stupid mistake. And then when I left the network, they stole all my analytics and now I have no data, which makes me sad. But I do have data for 2016. So far, this is the CPM that we're seeing in 2016, an average of $1.49. So from 288 to $1.49. What does this tell you? This tells you that CPM has come down by almost half. People are earning less and less and less and less on ad revenue. And I have a hunch that a big part of it is that people are running ad blockers, which is fine. But also it could just be that, I don't know, the market's changing. The way that YouTube works is changing. And so I guess my logical appeal to you here is, hey, if the industry's changing, let's change with it. Support me on Patreon for a whole buck, and you solve all of those problems. You know, even if it's just the smallest amount possible, the $1 pledge, you are doing more for me in that way. You would have to watch, at this rate, you would have to watch, like, what would it be? To earn me a buck would be like 700 videos. I'm pretty sure there's no one out there watching 700 videos a month. That would be 700 divided by 30 days a month. You'd have to watch 23 of my videos per day at 20 minutes apiece. So you'd have to spend... that math got weird. One more time, let's try this again. $1.49 divided by... Doing math live is a bad idea. It was like 700 videos a day. 700 videos times 200 times 20 minutes. That's 14,000 minutes divided by 60 minutes in an hour. You'd have to spend 233 hours a day watching my videos to earn me a buck in a day divided by 30 days in a month. So you'd have to watch 7 hours, call it 7.8 hours. You'd have to spend 8 hours a day watching my videos to earn me a buck a month. Anyway, this is my Patreon pledge, my Patreon plea, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully me being honest with you and showing you some numbers, and hopefully me just telling you what's going on is a reason enough to consider it. So thanks for watching this. I hope that you consider it, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. I'll see you soon. Alright guys, hey, we're back. So, did it work? I've never tried doing that before, so I don't know if that actually worked or not. Running an actual local file as part of a Twitch stream is weird. Yeah, and then at the beginning there, I accidentally had both bits of music going. I need to remember. I can actually create a shortcut key to mute both my desktop audio and my mic at the same time, and then just run the secondary file. So, I mean, I'm thinking about maybe on occasion, like I would almost rather prefer to run my own ads versus just having like bullshit ads from Twitch, you know? Like I'd rather run like if I'm gonna go get a soda for 3 minutes, I'd rather run a pre-recorded ad to like, hey, here's why you should become a subscriber on Twitch, or here's what you get if you become a subscriber on Twitch, than just run a backdrop. Oh yeah, I do need Patreon under the stream. What the? How did I forget that? Thank you. I got my headphones on now because the music's gorgeous. I've been reading the comments on my my second adjustments video, and someone had asked that question earlier. Is there more negativity now? And I get to a question, or I get to a reply on here. It says, "Can Arumba please get lost with his armchair game development? I'm sick of it, as well as getting bombarded with every of his little brain farts on the Paradox subreddit front pages. How many of his amazing intuitive EU4 keyboard shortcuts are you using?" So I tagged this guy as a faggot, and I downvoted him. Honestly, fuck that guy. Just... Yes, people are negative assholes, is what they are. What am I trying to do right now? I want to... edit panels. Add. Patreon. I shouldn't have called them a faggot. That's mean. People are gonna be all mad at me now for using that word. It's different for me though. It's just a word. I don't know, it's just different. It's just different. You know, I just don't see it that way. I've already explained myself multiple times on where it comes from and why I use it. It's just a different type of word for me. It's like calling somebody retarded. Like, people have bastardized religion, or sorry, they've bastardized language when they say that you can't call someone retarded. It's retarded. Retarded is a scientific term. Retarded means... It literally means that you have sub-level intelligence. You are retarded. Anyway, let's not get on this topic or I'm gonna get myself in trouble again. Damn it. Let's answer some more questions. Have you ever considered narrating something? I've had 2 people ask me to be a voice actor for their games, and one of them was really small, and so I didn't do it. And the other guy was also really small. So, if I had a larger audience or a larger like game developing company ask me to do a voiceover, I would love to do that. I think that'd be really fun. I know it's a lot of work, but I would love to. I would love to. I think it'd be great. PC specs, you can find them at arumba.tv/about. What's your longest gaming session? 20 hours, roughly. Sometimes I'll play for 20 hours straight. With, you know, breaks every hour or so. Stand up, walk around, get some water, that kind of thing. Have we asked too many questions? Nope, we're doing fine. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self? Take college seriously? Here's what you should do. When you're in college, you should treat college like each one of your professors is your boss. Like you actually are working a job and they are your boss. Because that's how you'll get good grades. They're your boss. They are. You're paying them, but they're your boss. And I didn't think of it that way, so I didn't really care about college very much. Arumba, will you do food review videos so we can see you min-max your food reviews? No, I won't. Will you make Stellaris keyboard shortcuts? Yes, I will soon. Although, according to some guy on Reddit, who has been tagged a faggot, my armchair game development is sickening. And no one uses my keyboard shortcuts. Oh, okay. Right, yeah, right. How tall are you? I'm 6 feet tall. Do you plan on doing Civ 6 videos? I'll try it, but it's probably going to be it's not going to go over well on the channel. Why did I skip your question? I don't know. Oh, I did skip your question. I see it's bold. It's a different color now. What did you study in college, university? I studied electrical engineering, computer science, and I was gonna. My goal at the time was to do biological engineering combined with mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. I wanted to do bionics. I wanted to be involved with making bionic limbs. What I wanted to do. But then I decided against it because I figured I'd end up working for a company that would patent my idea and they'd make all the money from it. And there'd be no point to it. So I quit. What's your favorite music? I like most music. Rather than say what my favorite music is, I usually like to answer that question by answering just like what music do I not like? And there's really only a couple categories of music that I don't like. I don't like most forms of rap music. Some rap music I really like. Like, I really like Eminem. I really like rap music that is provocative, like thought-provoking. I remember I had a college teacher, a literary teacher, who said that Eminem was like a poet. He was a poet of a different type, and I think she was right. But I listen to almost everything else. I mean, electronic, you know, I like heavy metal, I like death metal, I like classical, I like string quartets, I like choir. I mean, I'll listen to almost everything. I mean, because I have a diverse background in music. I played tuba, I played baritone saxophone, I played alto saxophone, I sang in choir, I was a tenor. At one point I was a bass, which was weird. I can't sing that deep. I don't know why he had me as a bass. That was wrong, but... What is your favorite Star Trek series and why? I think I covered that, but I'll answer it again. Star Trek Voyager, because of the CGI. The CGI at the time was just then good enough to make it so that it looked real. And I was also the right age. That was when that series was running on TV. So it was what I watched. I used to watch it every single night at 7 o'clock, and it looked good. It looked realistic. And then when I went back to try to watch the other ones, they just looked bad, and so I couldn't really get into them. Did you reach 200,000 subscribers on the day you originally predicted? No, I did not. We're about 6 months late. And I blame it all on the delay of Hearts of Iron 4 release. Hearts of Iron 4 was supposed to be released Q1 of 2015. Almost 5 quarters ago. Almost a year and, 15 months ago. But they didn't do it. And so, it threw all my projections off. How long do you think Paradox will keep updating CK2? At this point, would you rather them updating CK2 or perhaps starting on CK3? Could they even add in CK2? What could they even add in CK3? I I think at this point, what Paradox should do, if I were the CEO or the CFO or like the person making financial decisions for Paradox, I would say, okay, we done good. We made some money. We got money in the bank. This is good. It's time to revise the Clausewitz engine. We need to update the engine. We need a 64-bit native engine that can handle multi-core processing better, and we need it to be done tomorrow. And I would dedicate sizable funds to making that project happen. Once I had the Clausewitz engine updated, then I would want to make CK3, EU5. I would want to make all of the core titles again with the new engine and kick freaking ass in this audience. That's what they should do. They need to update the engine. Did you know? Here, I'm going to show you. Okay. Let me show you something. This is interesting. We're going to go into our Steam folder. We're going to go into the EU4 folder. Right, so we're in the EU4. And let's just see if we can find anything interesting in here. Common. No, it's not in there. Decisions. No, nothing interesting in here. DLC is not going to be there. Events. No, that all looks pretty normal. Where is it? Missions. You guys know what I'm looking for, right? I think it's under common. It's under one of these things in here. Common defines. No. Okay, I can't find it. I don't remember where it is. Basically, there's a whole bunch of shit in the EU4 folder that specifically references EU3. Like, it's like they just took a whole bunch of shit from EU3 and just ported it over into EU4 and said, "Bam! It's a new game." Like they really they need a new Clausewitz engine, and they need to revamp it. They need to rebuild it. They need to do something new with it. That's what I would do. They got to invest in the future. They can't keep on doing. There was a saying we had in the insurance business: if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get less than you've ever gotten. So your subscriber base is growing, but that does not always mean more active viewers. How is the growth of views for a video growing? Well, one thing I've noticed is that my average views per video are not really that high. I still only average like 10 to 20,000 views per video. It's a different style compared to like what Northern Lion's doing. He gets like 70, 80,000 views per video. But his audience is a little bit more dedicated, I think, to what he's doing. But what I have noticed is if we look at the last year, and then we look at, I'm not showing this information to you guys, but I'm looking at it so I can tell you what it says. We look at the last year, and then I want to summarize it on a monthly basis. How do I do this? Views over the last year, compare metric. No, we want it on a monthly basis. Yeah, views have been pretty stagnant for the last year, waiting for the release of Hearts of Iron 4 and Stellaris. 5 million, 4 million, 900,000, 5 million, 400,000, 5 million, 500,000. Roughly about 5 million views a month. And so far for May, we're at 3.4 million. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I need to keep diversifying. That's what we gotta do. Do you realize you will get at least 1,000 questions? Good luck answering. Yeah, there's like 1,800 questions so far. The moderators went through and helped to filter out most of the questions, so I'm only looking at the ones that are pretty reasonable to answer. Would you ever do a fan meetup? I almost went to Quill 18's fan meetup. He invited me to come with him when we were in Windsor, but I have a tendency to do poorly with large groups of people. And I think it has something to do with the anxiety. I'd like to try to get the anxiety and depression and stuff under control a little bit better before maybe I'd consider doing something like that. But maybe. I mean, I would love to. I would love to meet people on a one-on-one basis and just get to know people, but it's, mods? It may have just been one mod who did it. I'm not sure. I don't mean to say that more than one person did it if it wasn't. Boobs or butt? Boobs. Totally. I did try Distant Worlds. I had a hard time getting into it. It was too much work. And I decided that the game was too old to justify the opportunity cost of learning an old game. Have you ever had an encounter with a fan and not liked it? And have you ever had an encounter with a fan when just going out? Actually, no, because I've been incredibly careful about hiding my personal identity. And I never really leave the house much, so outside of like traveling through an airport or something, people have no opportunity to recognize me. Will you name your heirs after each other so that they will be Arumba the First and then Quill the etc.? Yeah, every kid I'm gonna name Quill. Just Quill. What's your favorite hero in Dota 2? Chaos Knight. How successful is Patreon compared to your other income sources? Considering I only launched it 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm very, very pleased with how well it's doing. I'm very surprised that people are as supportive as they are. I really appreciate it, and I hope that the support continues to grow. Have you seen any good movies lately? Yeah, one that comes to mind. I watched a really good movie called... It had a horrible name. Without trying to give away the plot, it was like Groundhog Day, but with Tom Cruise and aliens. What was that movie called? Does anyone remember? Someone will remember, and then I'll just mention it. I asked all those guys to play Factorio with me again. Edge of Tomorrow, that was what it was called. Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow. It's a good movie. You should watch it. If you like Groundhog Day, you'll love Edge of Tomorrow. It was good. Good movie. Rum, vodka, or whiskey? I like rum. I also like whiskey, but whiskey makes me angry. It might just be all mental, but whiskey just makes me a mad, angry person. Sorry, I'm just messing with this thing, trying to make it readable. Okay. Next set of questions. Apple or Samsung? I would say Samsung's making better products these days. Do you have any idea for future multiplayer Let's Plays? I like what we're doing with Quill right now. I'd like to do multiplayer Stellaris with some other players. Maybe Quill, maybe something with Stijo or Shen. I don't see anything happening with Mathis or Northern Lion. They seem to have dropped off of the Paradox multiplayer thing. I don't know. I do not listen to any podcasts, no. Have you dealt with any sort of failure in your life? Yeah, of course. I think everyone has. I don't know. I don't really know how to go into it. So, let's just move on. Favorite film. Favorite film. As in, like, if I had, like, what movie could I watch over and over again? I love Disney movies. I mean, I've watched a lot of them because of my kids, but I like Tarzan, Beauty and the Beast, Cars. It's weird because movies like that can like make me cry, which is weird. What was your first YouTube series campaign that made you feel like you could continue doing it as a job? None in particular really come to mind. It was really more of a stream of... I had a lot of different series going all at once. It wasn't just one series that made me think I could do it. What was your first game? Probably Sim City on Super or regular Nintendo? That or like Sim Ant or something? Or it could have been... No, it was probably Super Mario. What do your children think of your job? My son, who's 9, I'm finally starting to tell the truth to about like what I do. The others are too young, so they just think I just go to the office and work. I just work in the office. But my son Nico, I'm telling him what I do, and he wants to do it. But it's difficult to isolate him from it, so I've got to be honest with him. Do you speak any other languages? No, not really. Very poorly. I understand mediocre Spanish. I can speak even less Spanish. I don't really want to learn another language. I really feel like language is a barrier that's going to go away due to technology. There's like no real reason to learn language, in my opinion. I really think that technology is going to just come around in the next 20 years and it's just going to say, I have a smartphone, you have a smartphone, I speak into my phone and it speaks out of your phone in the right language. Done. Like, what's the point in learning their language? I don't understand it. Do you own a car? Yes, I do. What is it? It's a minivan, because I have 3 kids. And it's awesome. Minivans are great. When do you think you're going to hit your next subscriber milestone? I don't know, because I'm not sure that Hearts of Iron 4 is going to do, for me, what I thought Stellaris would do. I have a feeling that Paradox is going to send out 300-400 codes to different YouTubers again, like they did with Stellaris, and it's just not going to be the big, huge boon to the channel that I had expected it would be. Can you do another Slither.io video? I enjoyed it. Sure, I think that's a good stream game. Do you enjoy what you do? Yes. I do. What's your opinion on incest? That's a weird question. The submitters. The submitter was Jamie Lannister. What's your opinion on incest? Question by Jamie Lannister. My opinion is that from a very young age, children that grow up together develop some sort of, I'm not sure if it's a chemical or there's this thing in your body like for example, and it happens with parents too, I have 0 sexual attraction whatsoever to my 6-year-old daughter. She's a very pretty girl. She's adorable. But because she's my kid, and because you've seen her grow up as a baby, like it's just not there. And the same thing happens with kids. So my opinion on incest is that either there's something functionally wrong with your brain, or you didn't grow up together, and therefore that's the only reason you can find your other sibling attractive. So, there's your answer, Jaime Lannister. Second question from Cersei Lannister. I cheated on my brother with my cousin. What should I do now? Clearly, you should repent and take a walk of atonement. Do you find Stellaris to be fairly thin and in need of more mid-game events and game mechanics? Yes, I feel like Stellaris is incomplete. But it's a very fun game, as is. What is your favorite achievement in EU4? I don't really like the achievements in EU4, honestly. I feel like they're all just... 90% of them are just world conquest. You earn the achievement by conquering the world. I mean, you could do any of the achievements by conquering the world, like, have the most trade income. Okay, conquer the world. You know, conquer Germany as Naguar. Okay, conquer the world. Like, just conquer everything. Like, that's all that it ever really is. Will you ever play EVE Online again? I don't think so. Probably not. No. It was a fun experience. It was very stressful. It took up a lot of my time. And the amount of negativity that I got from it was really, really hurtful. And it came from two sources. One source was that every single time I would try to stream every time I would try to stream EVE Online, I would put EVE Online as the game that I was playing, and we would just get harassed, and we would get war decked, and we had anywhere from 5 to 15 wars declared on us at all times, just because I was a streamer. And that made the game miserable. And the game does not play well with... It's just... The game has poor design. I've said my piece on EVE Online before. I don't want to say it all again right this moment, but the developers for EVE Online, I think, are just dumb. 90% of them don't even understand how the code works, because the developers, the people who made the game, have cycled through so much that they literally, functionally don't understand how things work in the code. And, like, they'll change one thing and, like, something else changes, and they're like, oh, well, that was weird. We don't know why that happened, but yeah, totally. I guess that's what's going to be intended. Yeah, it's intended in mechanic. Yep, sure, totally. That's what we meant to do. So, and then the other reason was that I had like just every single time I would actually log online to play. Everyone wanted my attention all the time, and if I didn't give it to them, they thought that I was neglecting them. And I would get people who would say that you don't spend enough time on EVE Online. And it's like, I could just never please anyone. So, all in all, it was a 10% experience for me. It was a very miserable experience for me. The only times that I actually really had fun was when we did the big multiplayer stuff on the weekends. And all that did was get us war decks. So, and that made it shitty. That made it a shitty experience for everyone who was trying to play outside of the multiplayer streams, because then you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go to the trade hubs. You couldn't do anything fun. You would just get killed. You get picked off. There was always some asshole in the Loki camping you out in your little deadbeat system. Just some bastard. And all it ever reminded me of was level 80 rogues camping spawn sites in PvP servers. It was so annoying. If you could live in any fictional universe, which one would you live in? I think it'd be cool to be an elf in Middle Earth. That's like the closest thing to immortality that I could think of. That'd be fun. What are you looking forward to the most about Hearts of Iron 4? The battle planner. I think the battle planner is going to revolutionize the way that Paradox does AI. And I think that the AI is going to be really good. Thick crust or thin crust pizza? I like deep dish pizza, so that would be thick crust. And I especially like pizza that has lots of, like, flavored crust to it. Garlic, butter, buttered garlic, that kind of stuff. Do you feel more pressure on yourself the bigger you become to satisfy your viewers? Yes, I do. I feel like when you're small, no one expects anything from you. And everything you do is just bonus. But then the bigger you get, the harder it is to please. And you can't please everyone. You know, if I put up a Hearthstone video, then some of the people that like Hearthstone are happy. But everyone who doesn't like Hearthstone's not happy. And if I put up any video that isn't their favorite video, then I'm displeasing people. And so it's unfortunate. What does your computer setup look like? Check Twitter, but I've got a triple monitor setup. I've got center monitor, I've got right monitor, I've got left monitor. Microphone's right here. You can probably barely see it in frame if I do this. Why did you quit playing Off-World Trading Company? Mostly because of the Stellaris stuff, the depression and anxiety stuff, and because I played Stellaris for 2 weeks, and then I started playing Dota again a lot. Like, honestly, I have a problem right now. All I really want to do right this moment is I want to play Dota, and I want to drink Mountain Dew. Both things that are very unhealthy behaviors for me that I need to get away from. What would you like to see in the next Stellaris expansion? I don't want a Stellaris expansion. I want a patch to fix all the shit that's wrong with it. What was your New Year's resolution? I don't do New Year's resolutions. I think that they're silly. I like to try to take things on a daily basis. Incrementally make myself better once a day. And that's pretty much all the comments or all the questions that were in the filtered list. So we'll take questions for another 15-20 minutes through Twitch chat alone. And then beyond that, we're going to wrap the stream up. And I'm probably going to end up going to play Dota. I shouldn't have reinstalled Dota, damn it. Anyway. Alright, so now we're just looking at Twitch chat questions. What do you guys got for me? Let's go. No spam. Let's go subscriber mode only. I don't remember the command for that, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out. Is that exclamation? Sub mode? Sub mode. Shit. I don't know how Twitch works. Channel admin. So this is why I have moderators, because they know how to do this stuff. I got it. Thanks. How do you do, how do you even do that? I don't even know how to do that crap. Anyway. This will just keep the chat from going crazy and I can read chat questions. So, how's the AI mod for EU4 coming along? I have not updated it. It's broken right now. I need to update it because they changed... First off, they added sailors to EU4, which was idiotic. And does nothing for the game. And the problem is that they changed the functionality between docks and shipyards. And in my mod, it made it so that shipyards were horrible and that they would never build them. And now, shipyards are really, really, really good, and they should always build them. So I need to update my mod to make it better. It's one of the things that should be on the list of things to do. What is your view on the medical field and human immortality? We owe it upon ourselves to strive for immortality. Death is unacceptable. Death is what happens when an organism ceases to have enough energy or ceases to be able to repair itself. But it's not something that should happen just because. There's zero religious reasoning, there's zero religious argument in my mind for why we should die or something. No, we should just never die. Do you plan to try for 3 mountains? I want to get that achievement so that some of the naysayers can just shut up. Because there's a lot of naysayers and I would love for them to shut up. The problem is that that's the type of campaign that would take a lot of effort and it would really be more of a self-serving achievement. It'd be more about my own pride than actually earning it. And if I recorded it, and I recorded failing over and over and over again, it would be bad. So I would end up having to do it on my own time, which I don't have a lot of my own time. So I would love to have the achievement, again, to make the naysayers shut up, but I don't think we're going to do it. Also, I don't think that the exploits that are in the game right now are super conducive to accomplishing that goal. Roomba, if you had a great team of game creators, what game would you have them create? What theme? I would love to be involved with game development. I think that I would make a good game. I think I'm good at what I do. Maybe I sound arrogant when I say that, but I think I'm good at what I do when it comes to the interface, usability, player perspective, organization, like what the player is seeing and expecting out of things, and I think that I could do a good job in that capacity. As far as actually like writing the code to make a game, I don't know the skills to do that, but... And William III, I don't really see how sailors could have been great in the first place. I just think they're stupid. I think sailors should just be part of the manpower pool, and we already had a restriction on how quickly landlocked nations could create boats. The restriction was that they only had one port. You know, they suddenly got access to the sea, they could only build one boat at a time, and they only had a really low force limit. That was the answer. That was it. We didn't need sailors. I don't understand sailors. They still don't make sense to me. My experience with EU4 since the patch, Mare Nostrum, I have never once run out of sailors. Ever. I'm always at the cap. There's just no... They don't mean anything. It's like they're just a non-number. Okay, fine. If the subs are not going to talk, we'll go to slow mode, yeah. Did I miss your question, Val? Do you think that EU4 multiplayer with no, I don't think so. Again, I don't think Northern Lion and Mathis are gonna play. I don't know, I just don't see it. Maybe Hearts of Iron 4. Tag Team Hoi 4 with Shen. If it's possible, we'll do it. Guaranteed. If it's possible to play the same country, I'd love to do that. Thanks for the subscription, by the way. Patreon or Twitch sub, which do you prefer? There's arguments for both. The thing that's good about Twitch subscriptions is that you get emotes, you get immunity to subscriber only mode, you get immunity to the Nightbot spam getting mad at you for posting links and stuff. Like, you get things, right? You get rewards for being a Twitch subscriber. The downside is that it's $5. The other downside is that it's 50% revenue share, so I get less of that. With Patreon, I get 85% revenue share, so that's better for me. But you get less stuff because technically you don't really get anything. But the positive is that you only have to subscribe for $1. So it's cheaper for you. So it's really whatever you want to do. I mean, I would just make the argument, support me however you want to support me. I mean, that's it, really. Just subscribe. If you want to support me, then do it however you feel best doing it. But I have to believe, statistically, I'm pretty sure that the $1 Patreon subscribers are the least likely people to cancel their subscriptions. And so I feel like long-term, they're probably the best people to have as subscribers, because they're just going to be there and stick around and be there forever. I have almost exactly what you described. I have been on an anxiety drug, but it made me extremely angry, so I stopped taking it 2 months. I'm not an angry person. I think you should see your psychiatrist. Not every medication is for every person. there's like a 30% chance when you take a medication that it's going to do what it needs to do. 70% chance it's not going to work. So you got to try a bunch of them. Stellaris is doing roughly twice as good as Doom. Well, I had no interest in Doom in the first place, so it doesn't surprise me that Stellaris is doing better. I think rebooting an old classic like Doom is functionally equivalent to selling out. I mean, they're just milking an old campaign. What is it? It's just Doom with better graphics? Who cares? Wow, way to revolutionize the gaming industry. Great job. Any plans to play more board game nights? Yeah, I'd like to do board game nights. I've had fun doing board game nights with Quill. I really wish Quill and I could be better friends. I like Quill. I really do. I like Quill a lot as a person. I think he and I get along really well in person every time I've met him. I feel like maybe I have said things not directly to him that have been filtered. You know that game that game you play when you're a kid called Telephone? Without being arrogant, industrial, wonky, I agree, I do. I've taken IQ tests and it's at least 145 if not higher. But anyway, I mean they're all subjective tests anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Chinese Whispers or yeah, Telephone, you know that game, the game you play as kids. So I think what may have happened on occasion is that I've said things and it gets filtered through the telephone to Quill and it comes across wrong and it's impacted our relationship and maybe we're not as close as we could be. But I like Quill and I would like to play with him more. It's one of the reasons why I was the one who pushed to play the multiplayer E4 campaign. And I told him, I said, Quill, let's play together. Let's just who cares about the other guys? Let's just do something, you and me. Let's just play together. I really like playing with you. So I'll tell you what, you pick any country in the whole goddamn planet. You play it. You pass me the save file when your monarch dies, and we'll just play together. No, I've never said anything directly bad about Quill, but like things that I have said would be like, I started YouTube because Quill was bad at CK2, which is true. It's a true statement, and he would agree. He is bad at CK2. So, but that comes across in a bad way when it goes to the telephone line and then somebody comes in and says, "Oh, Arumba said you're bad at video games." You know, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, I push for him to do it because I want to play with him. I like him. And I have said things before, like I'll give another example of where someone asked me my opinion, and I've never been hesitant to give my opinion, because it's just an opinion. And this is another example, again, where I think possibly where I may have rubbed shoulders with Quill maybe the wrong way, where it was back when he was still working his full-time job. And I just said straight up, I think Quill shouldn't be doing what he's doing. I think that he needs to focus on his YouTube career, and I think that he should release content in a different way. He needs to be more consistent. He needs to stop releasing 5 episodes of one campaign in 3 hours, and he should have a structured schedule. And if he did these things, he could be doing YouTube full-time all the time. And these are all true statements, but the way I say them and how aggressive I can be in my comments can make people think that I don't like them or whatever. So I can easily see why. And again, I also I really have felt a huge change in myself since I started taking this medication. And I think a lot of my fears for like where relationships stand, like how things are between me and other people, it's all in my head. Really. He's probably fine, and I've just never reached out and been open enough to just ask him to play with me. You know? So I should just be more open You know, like I remember when I was in Windsor recently with these guys, I remember talking to a whole bunch of them and just saying, "Hey man, I'm sorry about last year because I was probably kind of a dick, probably really quiet and like didn't socialize much, and I apologize because I really like you guys and I wish I had been more open and more direct with you, and like guys who I remembered from last year but whose name I didn't know and like kind of ignored most of the time, like became what I would consider to be friends this year. And if I see them again, I can't wait to see them again. We'll have some pints. We'll get sloshed. We'll make fun of stuff. We'll have a great time. I can't wait. But what do you drink, Arumba? I don't normally drink. I had some beer when I was in. That's all I had was just beer. Well, actually, at the event that Quill went to, his meetup, somebody gave him some liquor, and all the guys, like, we all had a couple sips of it. It was a small, fancy thing that he wouldn't be able to take back on the boat, or on the plane. So we drank it, but I don't really like scotch. So we just had beer. It was a beer called it was an Italian beer, which I thought was interesting. It was a light beer called P something. Peroni. It's Peroni. And I love it. I love Peroni. Every time I've gone there, I like Peroni. I could have like 4 Peronis right now. It'd be fantastic. But I generally try to avoid drinking around my wife. She doesn't like it when I drink. Peroni's a great light beer. It's a good beer. Welcome to Team Subscribers, Scuba Steve. Appreciate it. We're now up to 273. We've had 7 subscribers today. 3 in the last hour. 35 total this week. So the numbers are going up. Appreciate it a lot. If we can get another 227 subscribers, then Twitch will theoretically give me a better revenue share, up from 50-50 to 70-30, which would be pretty awesome. As part of the stream, you should show us uninstalling Dota. How about as part of the stream, I should show you playing Dota? That's what I want to do. Your eyebrows and their movement remind me of Amelia Clark / Daenerys. They're fabulous. What's your take on the whole ancient aliens theory, and do you believe in other advanced life forms? What do you mean, ancient aliens theory? Do you like hard cider? Sure, it's fine. It's no different than, it's just like a, it's like a weak beer, weak liquor. It's like a beer liquor. It's good, it's fine. What do you think of naval combat width? Currently, I think it is more unrealistic than it is not, and completely broken. Naval combat width just makes it so that heavy ships beat large light ship fleets, and that's, I think, a good thing. I think that if you have 250 light ships, they should still get their asses kicked by 30 heavies. And the problem is that before they made that change, 250 light ships would just wipe the floor with anything. So naval combat width was a necessary addition. But it sucks because it means that my typical playstyle, which is to ignore every ship type except for light ships and transports, isn't as good as it used to be. But I think it's justifiable change. Arumba, what drug are you on? It's an anti-anxiety pill called anti-anxiety pill called Klonopin. That's the brand name. I'm on a generic called clonazepam. It's the same exact thing. It's just the generic version. What is your opinion on the JFK assassination? What conspiracy theory do you subscribe to? Well, personally, I think that Magneto did try to make the bullet dodge JFK, but failed. Have you tried DPO? Yes, I did. It was interesting. I got up to level 45, and then It was okay. You don't have anxiety problems. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm glad I'm paying a psychologist hundreds of dollars to diagnose me. And you feel that you have the capacity to just make a comment like that. Sure. Also known as I completely disagree with you and your opinion is moot. What's the best CK build, and is there any plans for more Dota videos? Maybe, I might play more Dota. I mean... I like fries, I like chips. Will you ever play Fortress Craft Evolved again? I'd love to get back into that game. Yes, actually, Orphans, I have considered investing in solar panels for my home. I really want to do that. I'm one of the few people that, like, I really want to do that. What does the drug do exactly? Basically, the way the doctor described it to me is that, I am always anxious, and so, the issue is that because I'm always anxious, I have no way of, like, connecting with my feelings, and it basically allows me to connect with my feelings. It's almost like, it's like being buzzed, like if I had 2 or 3 beers, but without being drunk. So I can actually feel my feelings, but I'm sober, so I can just feel my feelings. They're there. And, that's about it. Lucid dreams are cool. Time travel, I think, is impossible. Religion is the... this is a great topic to be on, of course. This will get me in so much trouble. Religion is the method of the 1% controlling the 99% throughout the centuries. It's the educated pillaging and pilfering from the poor, and they use religion to do it. All people want to believe. Yeah, opiate of the masses. That's the right way to phrase it. All people want to believe in something higher. Spiritualistically, they want to believe that they're good, that good things will happen if they're good, and so people prey upon that by using religion. They use religion to justify wars, they use religion to buy private jets, to become multi-billion-dollar televangelists, you know. Religion doesn't help us in any way. There will come a time when we can evolve beyond religion. Or, and here's my honest hope, or all of the religious people will be against transhumanism and becoming biologically merged with our technology, and they'll all die, and we'll all live, and so we'll just outlive them, and then all the religious people will just die out. Sounds good. It's fine with me. Hey, again, we're talking about religion, not spirituality. I have absolutely zero issue with you being religious. I have absolutely zero issue with you being spiritualistic. If you want to believe in spiritualism, if you want to believe in something and it makes you happy, then do it. Where I take issue, and this is an argument my wife and I got into a fight about the other night, is I only take issue with people who are religious and try to force it on other people. If they try to use their religion against me, then I take huge offense to it. Someone wants to show up at my door and it's part of their religion to try to convert me to their religion, get the hell off my porch. If, for example, here's a great example. This actually happened in Florida recently. There was a couple. We were into the local place to get my son's passport renewed because we're traveling this summer, and there was a magazine on the counter, and the front page of the magazine was talking about this miracle child, right? So there's this miracle child where this kid was born. What's the name of the disease? I can't recall off the top of my head, but there's this disease that you get where you basically don't have a brain. Some of you will know what I'm talking about, and someone can help comment. Help me discuss this. What's it called? It's the thing that is happening a lot down in South America right now, where you get bit by a mosquito and then you get your babies get born with it. Yeah, the Zika flu or the Zika virus. Yeah, that's it. Hydroencephalia. So there was a baby born like a year ago with hydroencephaly, and basically what this does is the baby has no brain. It just doesn't have a brain. It's just a brain stem. And so I was making the scientific argument that the baby is functionally a vegetable and that it's dead. It's not alive. It's just a brain stem. It can feel heat, it can feel cold, it will make noise. It's not alive. It's dead. It's no different than a vegetable. Like it's just not alive. It will never be a real person. Anyway. And so my wife got mad because I was being really argumentative about it. But the reason I was angry about it is because the reason why this couple kept the child is because they knew that the baby had hydroencephaly. They knew that the baby had this illness, but they gave birth anyway because they're religious. And so they said that God will take care of their kid, or God will cure their kid. And so I took huge offense to that, because essentially what they're doing is they're putting this child on the backs of the taxpayers of our county and our country because of their religion. So I take offense to it. That's them forcing their religion on me. It might be a small burden directly for me, because it's only a small portion of my taxes that are going to do it, but that's stupid. They should have aborted the baby. The baby doesn't have a brain. How about you just cancel that baby and try making a different one? Anyway. No, I'm pretty sure that that's not what the argument, hydroencephaly, that's not what the article was talking about. The article was talking about how it's a miracle baby. This baby without a brain has survived to the age of 1. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's crazy. How could it have lived this long? Well, no shit. It should have died already, because it doesn't have a brain. It's just cancel the baby. It was dumb. It was a stupid thing to do. They should have canceled it. Anyway. Now I'm going to be in trouble with her again, because she's probably watching the stream. But anyway. I feel really good about Elon Musk. I think that he's going in the right direction. I like crazy people with lots of money who try to push things in the right direction. So, without further ado, though, we should really wrap this stream up. This has been the subscriber Ask Me Almost Anything. 200,000. Hopefully I haven't said things to offend too many people. Hopefully people who got questions answered got answers to questions that they wanted answered. And, yeah. Hopefully you got a little bit of insight into me and how things are going. And, I appreciate all your support, I appreciate you guys being here, and, it does mean a lot, having 1,000 people here just chatting and getting questions answered and talking back and all that stuff. Honestly, the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because if it was my kid, I would have aborted it. And I would have had no issue with it whatsoever. If I found out my child had Down syndrome, abortion. If I found out that my child had the thing where they've got, where their fingers are all merged together, abortion. I have no issue with abortion whatsoever. Here's the thing, ZZMT Drew 3ZZ. I can't please everyone, so some of you will like what I say and others will not, and that is what it is. So if you don't like it, sorry. Oops. I know it's really blunt. That's the way that I am, though. Here's the thing. Every single woman in the house, every single woman will say that they wouldn't abort their child because it's their child. It's their precious little thing. And this is the same argument that I made with my wife. Again, you guys got to remember, I worked in the insurance business for almost 7 years. I met with people who had spent 30, 40 years of their lives taking care of their Down syndrome children. Have you personally ever met, and I'm going to get a little bit angry here about this if you guys are going to try to say that I'm being the bad guy here. Have you ever met someone who's 60 years old and has spent the last 40 fucking years of their life taking care of some mentally retarded child? Have you seen firsthand how miserable and depressed they are? Because if you haven't, then you don't know how shitty it is to have a Down syndrome baby. Let alone hydroencephaly, let alone any other illness baby. Abort if they are ill. It's simple. It's not a complicated process. If they are not healthy, you shouldn't give birth to them. It's not that complicated. And I have met these people. I have met them. So, anyway, people can disagree with me if they want. Okay, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So I hope that I'm in a good spot. We'll see. Let's go read some more about all of the people that I'm being that I'm offending now with my what was this called again? My armchair game development that people are sick of. Let's go see how many more people are sick of my adjustments to Stellaris. It's easy for me to look at the negative because it comes out a lot. I got a lot of flack at the first Stellaris series. It was like a 500 post thread talking about how I was complaining too much. I didn't take that well. Anyway, alright. Thanks for watching the stream, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, it wouldn't be an Ask Me almost anything if we didn't end the stream talking about abortion. Hey, I agree. PB Head. Down syndrome people are happy. They're great. They are fantastic when it comes to being genuinely happy people. It's amazing how nice they can be and how loving they are. But again, until you've met the 60-year-old woman who's taken care of one for 40 years and has been miserable because she can't live a real life, who will promise and swear to heaven that it was the right decision, you can still see it in their eyes that they wish that they had aborted the child. It's not fair. It's not fair to them that they have to do that. And you know what else is not fair to? What happens when the parents die? What happens when the caregiver dies? And now the brother or the sister or the uncle has to step in and take care. It's not fair. But again, I agree with you, PB Head. You're right. They are happy people. They're some of the happiest people out there. So, anyway, I'm going too deep. I gotta pull out before things all go bad. Alright. Even though most of you, or some of you, may not believe it, I do love you guys. Even if it's a one-directional relationship in this context, because I'm talking at you. We'll see. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next stream. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'll see you next time.